Hello, we're here with you on a Sunday, the end of the week for some, the beginning of the week for others. Is it a black dress? Is it a blue dress? I don't know. Will we find out today? Welcome, Chris.
Welcome to
What's up? What are you
yourself.
drinking?
Oh, Arizona green tea.
Oh, okay. I hope we don't get copyrighted for that. We
I
should. They
don't.
should pay us, right? They should pay
Yeah,
us to drink their tea
I've
on.
never heard of anybody getting copyright struck for drinking a drink. I can't remember. Maybe I guess that's possible.
I don't know.
I
Hey,
don't think my I
Chopper.
think my T-shirt would be more of a problem. It's
Is
like
it
the
another Twin Peaks? Yep.
yep with the original
Which we
font.
finished yesterday, by the way. We're going to start True Detective tonight or today at some point, and we're watching the other True Detective later today.
Yeah, like
The new season, the one in Alaska with Jodie Foster. Hey, Abraxas. Oh, Bex. Yeah. Hey, Bex. And what else do we watch? Oh, the Dutch Mole is out. The new episode. So we watch that every
I
Sunday
forgot
too. So
about
anyway,
the
point
Dutch.
is we'll be watching a whole bunch of shit today. True
Yeah.
Detective, of which True Detective will be one of. And that's all I got going on. And then my D&D group later.
Now you got a busy day.
Yeah, Sundays are my busiest day, actually. And I have to go run errands.
Oh, you got to run errands too, damn. I don't think I have
Yeah,
any
but
errands
I
to run
got
today.
time.
I guess like I mean, where you live in like up there, is it like you live in like an area where you have like stores and everything really close to you? You can like get around really
No, I
easily.
have to walk there. Like the nearest grocery store is about a mile away.
Oh shit, that sucks.
I'm in a food desert. What's good? What's good? Well, it's good to hear that something's good finally. But what is good today or
Oh well,
great?
no, he's trying to he's asking for help. Says he's stuck somewhere.
Oh, is he
Stuck.
being sarcastic?
Yeah. Um.
Oh, I thought you had got
I
some
mean,
good
dude,
news.
and Raccoon, look, it's I was actually I tried to I thought I responded to you before. I guess the browser crashed. Um.
Got left.
The browser crashed when I was trying to respond
Don't
to you on the
drink
other thing. I thought it
piss.
went. I didn't realize it
That's
didn't go through.
nasty.
I sent a message to you before though in response. I'm saying like I have no idea. I mean I don't. I mean I'm completely broke. I can't send you any money, and I don't even know where you live. If you live in the Dallas area, tell me.
He
I
lives
could
in
help
Raccoon
you.
City. Where is that?
Oh, Raccoon City is
Raccoon City, Tennessee.
it's a fictional place in the Resident Evil universe.
Oh,
But yeah,
well.
it's a reference point.
Speaking of, has it any word on Tim? From
I never I didn't
Tim, if you're out there, let
let us know
I
if
hope
your son's all
I
right
hope
and stuff.
everything is like I hope you're. I hope you heard something.
Yeah.
So let us know. And anyone else wants to come on and talk. iPhi was in the comments earlier, asking what we could talk about.
Oh, the Discord. Yeah, I saw the.
And I said, well, whatever you want. And he rattled off all these topics that all turned out to be about himself and conservatarianism, conservataria.
Are you surprised?
So Tam, I don't think I know
Tam?
Tam. I don't know Tam either.
Yeah, I don't know who Tam is. Yeah, I mean, dude, I really do. I really do feel for you, dude. I mean, I really wish I could help. I just like I said, like I don't even know what city you're in. If you are in the Dallas area, let me know, and I'd be happy to help you out there because I probably could get I probably could my shitty van could probably get to maybe where you are to help you, but I don't have. But if you're not in the Dallas area, I don't have any way of helping you from here. So I'm sorry, man. I really wish I could help. But I am I am.
No, Tom maybe. Did any of us say Tam or Tom or Tammy?
I have no idea. what is.
I don't know. We don't know.
What? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who said Tam. Well, man,
Just
I really don't.
keep going. 10 miles is
Well, he's on crutches. He said he is. I mean, I mean, like, what, do you need like bus fare or something? Is it like, are there buses where you are? Do you have like access to any kind of?
Hey, dudes.
hello, Busker.
How you doing?
Pretty
All
good.
right,
How are
just trying
you?
to help see if there's any way we can help our friend Raccoon there.
Well, there's not really. So I don't
They
know what else
closed
to
the
do.
bus on Sunday. What the fuck? Wow.
I never heard that. I mean, that must be a sticks or something.
Yeah, I don't know where you live, dude. That must be that's some backwards ass shit right there. I never heard the bus being like. I mean, even like the church. I mean, it like in the small towns I grew up in, the only buses there were the church buses. Were the ones that would literally bus people to and from church. That was your only public transportation option in the whole city. So that was only for Sunday. So you're living in some backwater hellhole, I guess. That doesn't. It's like some. They don't even have like the church buses you can flag down. That sucks. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I just like. The weed let you fly like Goku on Nimbus. All right.
So are you like watching us on the screen as you walk and typing or talking, talking, talks? What is it?
Yeah,
Type?
I guess so. Yeah, just on the. Yeah, you can just use the chat function on there. What? Okay, then where? We just give me some. What state do you live in where like they do shit backward shit like that? That is crazy, man. Anyway.
Well, all we have to do is keep him busy while he walks, so that 10
Yeah.
miles doesn't feel like 10 miles. We can
Yeah,
do
maybe
that.
so.
Damn, that's a long fucking. And then he's got groceries.
I don't know. He says he's on crutches, so I don't even know what he's doing.
10 miles on crutches. How did he end up in that predicament?
Virginia. Oh yeah. I guess Virginia is kind of backwards, isn't it? I don't know much about Virginia. All I know about Virginia is like, is what's like the John Denver song about West Virginia,
Man, that's rough, dude. On crutches, and you got 10 miles. That's fucking crazy.
Hey Frank, we just started. Give us some time to be engrossing, okay?
And you can come on here and contribute to it, You don't have to show your face. You could just have your little monkey up.
What's up, Ice Grills out there on the comments? And Chopper Jeff, you're welcome to come too, man. It's a lazy Sunday kind of stream. I don't think
Very lazy.
we don't have much.
I haven't looked at the news.
Let me not even
peek.
be going that long today, really. So
let me see if anything happened overnight. Navalny, the funeral or whatever. Tribute. No, I don't see much happening.
Yeah, no, the world is the world has been fairly uninteresting here lately.
The world is spinning. Unless you're a flat earther, then what does it do? Does it just sit there, or does it rotate? Or do they think the sun comes up over one edge and then down over the other edge?
Maybe it's spinning like this, like flipping over or something like that.
And I'm sorry, I did not mean to get us on a flat earth.
No, yeah.
Let me retract all of that. It's like a dinner plate spinning. That's so wild
Like a frisbee.
that people would think that.
But No, I can't do it. I'm not gonna. I'm not
That's
getting sucked
cheap
into
for
it.
an Uber. 1078. That's cheap.
Yeah,
If you
that's
can
not a
get an
bad.
Uber for
That's
that
not a bad
price,
price for an Uber. If there's
that's a
anybody
good
out
deal.
there that that can that can help wrecking out with an Uber, then please, if you can do that. I really, I would honestly, I would do it myself. I would. Back in the day, I used to like remote get people Uber rides or Lyft rides or something all the time. Like whenever I had some prep, but I don't know if that would work from city to city though. I don't know if I could do that for someone in another city. But I don't have the money to do it right now. I don't. There's no money in my bank account, so I couldn't do it.
A flirther. Okay.
Frank says, "iPhi, go fuck yourself." Okay. Oh, okay. I see it now. Oh, I see.
Well, any of y'all are welcome to come on.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Did anything happen last night? I didn't. I watched Machines a little bit, but it was mostly him showing videos. And Flo is back. Flo did a stream last night.
I saw a bit of that. And I fell asleep because it was late. I think.
Yeah, I think I tuned into it. I tuned into both at the wrong times. Every time I tuned into one of them, it was
IT crowd.
yeah. We watched the IT crowd last night.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the IT crowd before, Jeff? British sitcom. Oh man, it's just a it's a very, I don't know, I guess it's a very classic. To me, it's like one of the funniest shows ever made. It's really really funny. We watched my two favorite episodes of it last night after.
Try it, Raccoon. You may get a free ride by the in a white car with blue and red lights on it too. So be careful.
I mean, for that matter, if there are, I mean, unless you're carrying illegal substances or something, the cops might
Look at
actually give
who's
you a ride.
here.
The ghost of iPhi returns yet again.
The summoning has succeeded.
We hath conjured him from.
So yeah, you wanted to talk about whatever
conservative hell
topics what you were talking about, and then maybe Leslie's video. And then you said Chris bitches about a bunch of stuff.
She just had one. You didn't catch her latest video?
Yeah, I was watching a few minutes of it while I was waiting for this.
Yeah,
Didn't you see iPhi posting in the comments?
iPhi assigned homework to you. Did you do it yet?
I refuse to speak until Daisy or Frank comes on panel.
Oh, okay, you don't have to speak. You just need to post the plug in the private chat. That'd be fine.
He's just taking up space then if he's not going to speak until Daisy or Frank comes up.
Yeah, so you don't have to speak. You just need to post your chart with that Machiavellian or realist ball in the private chat. That'd be fine. Yeah, the political compass chart with either the realism ball or the Machiavellianism ball on it, where it will be on the chart.
Why do I have to do your homework for you, Hank? I don't remember this contract.
That's a good question.
Oh, the reason is you're trying to tell us how about the compass and how good you are at it, and I gave you a challenge.
When did I say I'm good at putting your political bullshit on my chart?
Good one, Frank.
I think it was like a couple shows ago. I guess the show when we both on at the same time last show.
Yeah, I posted a chart to show that words have meaning. Did you follow that part, Hank?
Yeah, and I'm showing you that they don't mean as much. They don't mean what you think they do.
Hey, Dolly.
So if you're confused by a chart that has meaningful words on them, and you want me to take your theory and put it on my chart, I don't understand what you're asking of me.
It's literally that. I want you to take my theory and put it on your chart. I want you to plot it, so we know where it is. So we don't have any confusion about where left starts or where right ends and stuff like that.
Okay, so you have homework. That's something you can do off stream.
Do you want me to debate where you put your ball on my chart? Is that what you're asking me, Hank?
Yeah, we don't even have to debate it. You just need to find that
He's
ball,
just asking
put it on
to
the
go
chart
and
somewhere.
add it to the chart. Add it to your
He
chart.
just wants you to play with your balls. So
He's the black gay witch.
So, Hank, you'll notice how incredibly
There's some
fucking
kind of
lazy
ball
I
in it.
am that I didn't even put myself on that chart because I didn't even want to spend
iPhi,
that much
someone
time.
really does not like you in the
Yeah,
comments.
that's
I don't
correct.
give a shit about comments. They're not real people. So
Yeah.
anyway, especially the pussy cowards that have nothing to say. So why do we worry about them?
Yeah, why are we?
yeah, just like the people that don't go on
I
camera. I know what
like
you mean.
to do transparency around here.
Yeah.
I mean, if he got bullied and they took away his lunch money, that's his problem. He can go cry about it somewhere else. Your comments is not for, pussies and cowards to just cuddle up and cry all day, Jeff. This is a panel for real people to really speak.
The ones that hide behind a seashell.
Exactly.
Those real people.
Those assholes. So, Hank, are you seriously unable to locate yourself on the chart, or are you just trying to see how I perceive your
Okay.
views
He's
on my
trolling
chart?
Yeah, well, you're telling me words have meaning. You had the chart. You know where everything is.
Okay,
and
okay,
too
okay.
dumb to understand. So my
Okay,
challenge
Hank.
is to plot that ball.
Okay,
I
Hank.
put it back. I put it back on there so you can know what it is. I want you
Okay,
to
Hank.
plot.
Let me see if I can guess where the discommunication is happening. On a chart where the left side says socialist and the right side says capitalist, where would you put your ball on, Hank?
Okay, here's the thing. You're trying to reverse the whole thing. When you came with the chart to tell us, oh, words have meaning, you know where everything is.
No, I'm not, Hank. We're going back to simple words because too many words seem to have confused you. So we're going to do simple
I don't even know
words.
if we're gonna even have this conversation at all because it doesn't sound very interesting for the rest of us.
So, Hank, is
Yeah.
your inability to answer my simple question proving iPhi's point that you're just wasting all of our times?
Hey,
Is that what
Chuck,
you're saying?
there's
Sure, I'm
other
wasting your
topics
time
we can-
because you can't demonstrate words have meaning. That's correct.
I agree. You can't demonstrate the most simple question ever asked on political topics in the human history. You can't even answer that one simple
All right, so what is the topic going to be today then?
The topic is why communication fails and why so many evil retards rage against the machine because they feel like it has something to do with politics or closed-minded religions. But it's not that words have meaning and adult humans won't communicate with each other. They just sit there and wail and flail and go, I don't even
That's
know.
the
My eyes are
topic,
white.
man. You
glazing
really
over."
lost me. That's the topic. Can we break it down into something manageable?
The topic is words, Jeff. Words
Okay, we
versus
can do
sounds.
We can do words.
So just now I was making sounds at Hank and he made some sounds back at me, but no words were exchanged because there's no communication. It was just noise.
Okay.
There you go, Jeff. There's a topic. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for watching the show. Good night, everyone.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
well,
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
next time Alpha comes with a chart, just make him explain it. And
They
he'll
have,
run
Jeff,
away.
they have, I found out, and they're a pain in the ass so far, but they have digital coupons. And some stores you can load them up ahead of time from their website, but some stores you have to scan the little barcode or QR code on each item, and it adds it to your thing. And those have good savings, but you have to learn how to use them. It's very like technologically advanced. There's a little curve to it, and that's what I'm using lately. That I'm learning is saving a lot of money. Okay, what was y'all talking about?
Yeah, I'd rather just go to Aldi because the prices are really low. They'll make you play coupon games.
Oh, see, that's very Satan would be proud. I would not even have thought of that.
Is there a
Or the
sales?
self checkout line. You can pay yourself on the self checkout line somehow.
Is there a sales tax coupon where you don't have to pay retarded evil people, governments, your hard?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about good, intelligent people.
Oh, I like those.
Do
Have
they
you seen
exist?
any lately? Do they exist, Hank?
No, but they have the AI can generate as many of them as you want.
Maybe we can create good and intelligent people with computers and AI.
We've done it before on here.
But wait a minute. If it's only evil retards programming the computers, then how are they going to produce
No,
an
it's
intelligent
large
person?
language learning model. It's not programming.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. The monkeys are hoping if they type long enough, they'll type out
No,
Shakespeare
now you just
accidentally.
sounded stupid. No, that's not what you're saying at all.
Hi, Redington.
What's up?
Hey, Redington.
I'd ask your
Reds.
opinion on the topic, but I think I already know. So for now, I'll pass.
What, the words topic?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
guess so.
words
I guess
topic,
the words
Reddington.
topic.
Take care, raccoon.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, seriously, be careful, man.
Words. Bird is the word.
Squawk hallelujah.
That's true. Bird is a word.
Bird is the word.
Good and intelligent people.
I think that's a myth.
Because I don't think that those are absolute properties. I think any human can be good and or intelligent given the right situation, etc. So what are you looking for? Like, are you looking to have conversations about goodness or conversations that seem intelligent?
I think you're getting warmer, Jeff. I can see the gears starting to turn.
Okay, that's your opportunity to come in and expand upon that or clarify it or take it in a different direction.
But I think
we'll walk you through what a conversation is.
I think Hank already spoiled the ending for you, even though he doesn't know what words mean. So
I wasn't paying attention.
maybe it's a
to
myth.
I don't pay attention to Hank. So
What's a myth, Hank?
Oh, a myth is something people talk about but we can't find anywhere.
Bingo. That's why I agree with you, Hank. You have some brains rattling around in there. And meanwhile, the crybaby from the comments, wah, he's hurting my feelings. Come on up.
Well, answer
Big
his
boy.
question. What is it like being an attractive woman?
I don't answer non-existent, irrelevant people in the comments. They don't exist.
Well, I'm asking it. What is your answer to that?
You can ask me the question and pretend like you asked it, Jeff. Go ahead.
iPhi, I'm curious, what's it like being an attractive young woman in today's job market?
I don't know. I'm an alpha male, and I'm not in the current job market.
I guess he doesn't know it all.
That's debatable.
Why aren't you in the job market? I thought if you're that high, you're just open.
I picture you in a trailer in the woods.
I'm semi-retired, Hank. I used to be in the rat race.
You sell car insurance or something from home.
I'll wait till Jeff's done. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What do you do?
Oh, by the way, don't accuse me of talking too much because, again, Hank asked me a question. So if I respond to his question, I don't want to hear you pass it.
And I want you to take care of your voice too. I know you.
Oh, my voice is fine. When it hurts too much, I'll quit talking. No worries,
Okay.
Jeff. Thank you for your concern.
Okay.
Hank, so I'm semi-retired. I used to be in the rat race. I've done government work, mega corporations. I was self-employed for a while. I ran my own company for a while. It's mostly been civil engineering since that's my forte, but I've done everything from worked at Subway all the way up to being like the principal engineer of small cities. So, I've seen and done it all. I exited the rat race right around the time when I realized that our civilization has collapsed in on itself. And we lost the culture war so long ago that even adult humans can no longer function in normal business environments and get any shit done without all this woke retarded stuff going on all the time, ruining everyone's careers. So, including civil engineers who should be immune to the left-wing woke-tard bullshit. You would think there would be no politics going on in a room full of nerds with calculators and computers, but you'd be wrong, Hank, because evil retards will find a way to fuck up everything.
I know. I have a perfect woke tard
agree with that.
camouflage. I have perfect woke tard camouflage, but then they implement communism inside the corporation, and I have to do a whole bunch of other people's work for them. Very annoying.
And even if you start your own business and try to prevent evil retards from even entering into the system, you still have to have clients and customers, and they can't be evil and retarded either, or you will have no business. So what do you do, Hank?
Probably start a cult. I think I'm going to start a cult based on realism.
False. You shoot the hostage.
Oh, okay.
Pop quiz, asshole. What do you do, Hank?
Shoot the hostage?
Exactly. You shoot the hostage.
What hostage?
The hostage.
It's a movie called Speed starring Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've seen that movie. I just
Pop quiz, asshole. What do you do? So anyways, Hank, now that I have a little free time, I come on to open panels, whoever's the most polite and civilized and shows some signs of intelligence.
God, how did I win that one?
You didn't.
How did I win the pleasure?
Your regular schedule, you catch me right at tea time, Jeff. That's why I'm here. But anyways, so even if there is a lack of any learning or intelligence, hopefully someone in the audience is capable of learning and are intelligent. So you never know. It's a crapshoot,
You
Hank.
never know. Yeah,
You just roll the
never know.
dice. Roll the dice, Hank.
Basically,
Yeah.
there's nothing else to do. It sounds like.
So
Nothing
other
better
than
to
shooting
do.
a hostage, my idea is to start a cult based on the philosophy of
Hey, I used to have
realism.
a purple mohawk. High schools.
Yes, that's true.
And I was a student in the engineering building.
I feel
So
like
there you
I
go.
feel iPhi at this point. I feel like you're just like our panel's version of a wrestling villain.
I think he's
like
our new
that.
Joshua Jones
I'm Macho Camacho,
without the volcano. Joshua Jones light.
the Aztec-Tarian
Instead of a
terror.
volcano,
He comes on
you
and
get to live in a
he grabs
trailer
the
out
mic
in the
and
woods.
he's like, I'm gonna come and fuck all you assholes.
You don't even know pain, brother, until you enter the ring with the iPhi. I'll fuck your shit up.
That is true. I did learn a certain type of pain.
I kind of missed the volcano.
Is it a pain in your posterior, Jeff? Is it a
No,
butt hurt that requires some
no.
cream, perhaps?
No.
Oh,
Nothing.
okay. Just guessing.
It's like an extreme cringe.
Is it a pain that Chris has where it's like
Terminal
cramps and
cringe.
bloating and occasional bloody discharge? Is it that kind of pain?
Boy, I came up here for intelligent conversation.
Look,
What the hell?
iPhi said that's what he was
Got
here for
him.
too, and that's what he's offered.
You're
That's
in the
his
wrong
open
place,
move.
Chuck. You're in the
Was
wrong
it
place.
bloody constipation or something?
I know.
I'm sorry, Chuck.
So
You're in
there
the
you go.
wrong
That's
place.
there's his starting
More like
point
a
for
cringy
intelligence.
groan.
Take it from there.
I know. I got a buddy of mine who's an expert in good and intelligent people, but the best I can do is tree fitty.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that-
like no analog for
okay,
me.
for me.
Like the closest thing would be like I was a
I'm
short,
starting to-
sober Joe Cool.
I'm starting to think you're right, Frank.
Yeah, you're right, Frank. I'm just here to derail Jeff's stream and make it iPhi stream.
Well, there's
got
only
me.
one. The one worse than you is that the lib guy.
Oh shit! Don't even. I was hoping no
That's-
one would speak his name, but you did it, Chuck.
Don't
You're that
say it
guy.
3 times. Don't say it 3 times and he won't show up.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
That's
Who
not
now?
fair, Chuck. Lib has something to say sometimes.
It's
Oh.
showtime.
I was being facetious, Chris.
Hey Chuck, if you like, I could become Lib
He's
for
always
you.
being
That's
facetious.
Yeah.
right.
No thanks.
Would you guys like to hear about some trans communism? I have some wonderful products.
No,
to
you
sell
wanted to talk about good and intelligent, and then you're bringing in all these topics.
Okay, Jeff, which one do you want to start with? Good or intelligent? I'll let you pick. You're the host.
Let's do good because intelligent, I feel like is more or less self-evident.
Okay,
to people
Jeff.
that know how to identify it.
Jeff, are good people nice and polite and kind and soft-spoken?
It depends on what you mean by polite. If it's the big five polite, no, they don't necessarily have to be polite to be good.
What about just soft-spoken and mild-mannered and
No, they
quiet
don't have
most
to
of the
be
time?
soft. Soft-spoken is a middle-class white people thing. Like they don't have to be soft-spoken to be good. Associating like soft-spokenness with any kind of morality at all is cultural.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, a good person could be a serial killer could be soft spoken. It doesn't make but a good person could be soft spoken too. I mean, what does that have to do with being good or bad?
Can you point to someone in this room and tell me if they're a good person or not? Help me out here, Jeff.
No, because when we started this conversation a while back, I specifically said I don't know if you're looking for if you can look for absolutes here, because any person is capable of being good in the right circumstances, or any person can do bad or evil in the right circumstance. So it's not people that you're looking for that are either good or bad.
When you say not absolute, do you mean subjectively the term is subjective, and so we can subjectively obtain goodness subjectively as the
He
subjective
usually
term?
double streams to his own show.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. Hold on, let me
So you
do that.
forgot to do it. We are his
Sad
panel.
trombone.
Oh shit.
Hey, Frank! I actually have 50 subs already. So
Let's call this good versus evil, because I know we'll never get to intelligence.
Say that again. Ask your question again.
Who are you talking to?
You, the one you just asked.
Oh, if the word good is subjective and you're an subjective observer and you're subjectively going to posit the claim that a subjective person is being subjective, what are we talking about now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, I know the word for this one.
Or
It's
what
called
it had to do with anything I was
emotivism.
talking about.
It's called emotivism.
You just used the
Sounds
word
like
good,
fatalism.
Jeff. Does good have a definition, or do you just make it up as you go along?
It has a definition to me, and I'm sure it has one for you. Whether they're the same, we don't know until we start talking about it.
Does it change from Monday to Tuesday?
I don't know. I'm not plotting it. I don't.
Does it change from the beginning of our conversation today
It
until
probably
now?
changes from person to person and situation to situation, like context to context.
So maybe when Hank first logged in, he was good, but now he's no longer good because Jeff
No,
suddenly
because
decided.
Hank has to take an action that I can evaluate as indicative of good or bad.
Today's actions of Hank, were they good or bad?
He didn't do any. Nothing he did today had a moral weight to it. It was all
really?
morally neutral. Yes.
He
didn't come and take any action that I could say was negative or positive.
He assigned iPhi homework. Was that good or evil?
That is neutral.
Oh, I see.
And you're a grown person. You're not obligated to do the homework. You could tell him no. You could ignore him.
Well, no one's obligated to do the homework, but I'll just give him an F.
Trying to illustrate with that as an example.
Why does my response
give him a
change
0.
the nature of the word?
If this is your idea of or attempt at talking about the good, it's not good. This is what's not good.
I concur. Since I asked you to define the word and you've failed
It's
completely.
not taking us anywhere. If the goal is to discuss the good, this conversation is doing the opposite of that.
I agree. So hold on, Hank. Let me finish the thought, and then I'll talk to you. Jeff, so I agree. Since you're incapable of having any words that have meaning, we can make sounds at each other. So from now on, you can make a noise at iPhi, and iPhi.
Well, that's what you've been doing, because I haven't understood.
That's what you guys been doing the whole time.
The last 2 or 3 things you've said.
Okay, now Hank, if you use words, I'll be happy to answer your question. What's your question?
It's not a question. I was telling you, I do have a definition for good. So
okay, go.
So I use emotivism. You can look that up. And it's stuff I like and approve of is good, and stuff I don't like and don't approve of is bad.
Isn't that subjective though?
Yeah, it is. It's called emotivism.
Oh right, I forgot. Hank doesn't care about truth.
Can I use a Google
truth
definition?
Truth is just a feeling.
Hank, can I use a Google
No,
definition?
brother.
You can, but it's more of a distraction because it's not really what
I want to
find
see
out.
if his
Okay.
word matches the public uses of the word. That's
It's
all
like
I'm
an
asking.
absurd statement, Hank.
An ethical theory that regards ethical and value judgments as expressions of feeling or attitude and prescriptions of action rather than assertions or reports of anything. Does that sound right?
Correct.
Okay. So Redington seemed to have a concern about that word. Maybe you two can sort it out and I'll jump in.
There's nothing to sort out. He's already stated his position, and I disagree with it.
Why did you disagree with it, Red? Please elaborate.
Because he's in a subjective realm of saying truth is whatever you feel.
Well, if that's not true, what is it?
You gotta have some kind of objective truth in order to not have absurdity in reality.
But there is absurdity in reality.
No, all of reality.
Yes, all of it is absurd. Yes.
So are you nihilistic?
Obviously.
Now I'd say I'm a realist.
He's
I'm a
delusionally
realist.
nihilistic.
No, I'm a realist.
He feels like he's not nihilist, Red. If that
So
helps.
like a realistic closet nihilist who thinks truth is a feeling.
Yep, and one day he's gonna have to come out of the closet and admit to his parents that he's been nihilist all along.
No, realism's an actual philosophy. I already post a link to the private chat. You can look up, read it on Plur Compound.
And then he can bring home his nihilist boyfriend, and then they can get married. Because he's coming out and he's proud. See, I like Redington. This is why I want him to talk more, but he's just like too chill and sleepy. Wake up, dude.
Okay, I can turn this around. What do you mean by nihilism? Because I shared my political philosophy.
I like Hank too, but he says dumb shit that we have to correct all the time.
Nihilism, as in the usual way it's defined.
Oh, the usual way it's defined. And that, what way is that?
Should I ask the AI for us?
Go ahead.
I don't trust AI.
Yeah, let me just go Google it.
Dictionary would be much better.
It's a complex philosophical concept. The core idea is the rejection of generally accepted or fundamental aspects of human existence. There's a epistemological nihilism, existential nihilism, moral, cosmic, etc.
The existential one. I'm still recovering from staying up all night on TML stream.
Yeah, dude.
Life has no inherent or predetermined meaning or purpose. Yeah, I'm an existential nihilist. This doesn't necessarily imply that life is meaningless, but rather that any meaning we find comes from our own choices and interpretations. Yeah, this sounds very empowering to me, in fact.
You know what? I will agree with existential nihilism, yes.
I like how it says not necessarily. Like, I mean, what else are you going to do?
You tell me. So I'll agree with existential nihilism.
It's of necessity absurd at that point.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah.
You're listening.
I'll tell you what you do, Red. There's a word that Gen X invented. It is called meh. M-E-H. That's what you do.
Yeah, I invented that.
I mean, I guess...
You're not Generation X, dude. You're in the Generation X.
Actually, that's not even... That came after my generation.
No, that was Generation X,
Chris,
dude.
was that around for yours? Because you're on the other end.
I'm pretty sure meh has been around for much longer than either of our generations.
Yeah,
I saw it crop up was
baby
online in chats and messages and stuff during the AOL days is where I first started to see it.
You're right, guys. It was the baby boomers that invented sarcasm and meh and apathy and all that shit.
Because meh is not a word people go around articulating. It's something they type. It's something.
See, even Generation X.
So really, it's
Generation
in the late '90s.
This is what I'm talking about. Nobody knows what anything means anymore.
Well, some
then
of
how
it
do we
is
talk to
just
each other then?
Experience.
With noises, we just grunt at each other.
That just comes with age.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
This
every
is
since we
it's just a long sleeve tee. It's from the Gap. It's not a sweatshirt.
ever since we
It's
had
a little
the president go with what the definition of is, words have gone out the window.
That was my
No.
favorite moment in human history. That was
No,
the pinnacle of human history. That sums it up nicely.
Man,
you know
no
what?
wonder your life
The-
must suck.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know,
the
dude.
problem with
Welcome
the
to my
Tower of
world.
Babel thing. If we had that Tower of Babel, we could still communicate. And unfortunately, God decided to knock that one down.
By the way, Gen X Jeff, have you seen Idiocracy, the movie?
Yeah, I saw when it first came out a long time ago.
okay.
I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was poorly done.
Was it satire or a documentary?
No, it tried to be satire. I mean, that was the genre.
But it failed. It was just
put itself in.
verbatim
But,
documentary.
I haven't seen it. It was really bad. Like the writing was bad, the acting was bad, etc. So I haven't bothered to watch it again. But I haven't seen it in today's context.
It was so bad that they made it news in our government. I know, it's terrible. It's shitty.
Yeah.
I kind of liked Idiocracy, but I didn't see it until years after it came out. So, but it's an all right movie.
But that's
There's a
before
lot
your
of-
time, Redington, so you don't have to worry
There's
about
a
that.
lot of people that stand behind that as being a true documentary, which is amazing.
I mean, actually, I think this life is more of a satire of Idiocracy. Like, we wish we had it that good, but, you know, it's much worse.
Well, not all of us are in the trailer in the woods. Like, you don't live like most people.
I have a question, iPhi. Do you
Use words, please.
Is Paul Slave your neighbor? He used to have a. Well, I guess he was your neighbor. He moved, but he used to have a trail in the woods too. Was he your neighbor?
Every time I've talked to him, he yells at me about being needy and passive aggressive, and we've only talked twice.
Who is this?
Paul
Enslaved.
Enslaved.
Oh,
Like him better
I think
already.
I think that's everybody's needy and passive aggressive.
The first time I talked to him, he agreed with everything I said while yelling and screaming at me, and I was like, "Calm down, dude. If you're agreeing with me, why are you mad at me?" And then I left. And then the second time I came back, I reminded him what happened the first time,
That is
and then he
kinda
got
needy.
even more angry about it. So I was like, "Okay, dude, I give up."
That's how he does his vibe check.
But luckily Talcott was there to calm him down, so I think we were able to have some sort of exchange.
Oh Lord!
Talcott. Talcott.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that. So Redington, let's debate shit, dude. I really want to talk. I know you're sleepy. I know you watch the vampire panels, but just pop a pill for me and wake up.
How did TNL stream go last night? Like
It's still going, ain't it?
It's probably still going.
It ended. It finally
Okay.
ended.
They're
Oh,
wrapping
it was
up
on
the
earlier.
Q&A section.
He usually keeps it under 12 hours so it doesn't bifurcate the video
Yeah.
and stream.
StreamYard only lets you do 12 hours max.
I think I ended one of his streams before. He like ended the stream with me talking or something. And I was like, what bizarre world have I entered into? It was like a pre-recording. I think it was one of these panels, Jeff. I don't know. I can't remember. You got
Yeah, I can-
fans.
I can see how that could happen.
He told me one day he wanted to talk about philosophy and build shit, and we never had that conversation. So I'm still waiting to see what's bugging him. But whatever, he'll get here.
Bro, y'all are on plenty enough panels together, so the conversation can happen anytime.
I think
Yeah,
he saw me.
Frank, I was thinking the same thing.
I think he saw me talking to Cynthia and didn't
Thank
want
you
to
for
get
articulating.
involved. So, speaking of Cynthia, that's a new one of my favorites. If Cynthia jumps on here, I'll talk to her. She's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to gossip about Cynthia? What's your Cynthia? Gossip?
I just did.
Cynthia, you're being
that
gossiped
she's
about.
fun.
Come and listen.
And interesting to talk to. That's my gossip.
Oh, that's it.
Yep,
I thought
that's
there
it.
was some like drama or something behind.
No, the drama was Lindsay Smith. Lindsay Smith is an agent of chaos, by the way. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up, but
How do we know you're not being an agent of chaos right now?
because she
You
just
didn't really-
trolls shit for the sake
I
of
mean,
trolling.
he is an
shit.
engineer.
I
Well,
guess
you're
I've never
less-
actually run into her because
Well,
like,
to me, you're lesser chaos
I
agents.
kept hearing this, but I've still never seen
Engineer
any
some chaos.
flip or anything that she did. That
I
was-
engineer civilization, bitch. I'm the opposite.
Did you
of
build the
chaos.
trailer
You
yourself?
engineer civics, not civilization.
No, I engineer civilization, bitch. Your clean
You
drinking
engineer
water comes
attention
from
for
me.
yourself is what you engineer.
Your
I don't
roads
know
and
if my
buildings
water
come
is
from me.
clean enough, though.
Your roads and buildings and clean drinking water come from me, bitch.
Oh, so I'll blame you for the potholes.
No, that's probably some government built building or something.
You just took credit. It's your
That's
fault.
a public road. Public potholes is how you spot the public roads, Hank.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
your
but they use private contractors, though, so it's your fault
that's
still.
your government, Hank.
They use private contractors to build the public roads.
That's
And
your
Mises
government,
too.
it's
Hank.
also just a basically bullshit statement because there are plenty of private roads that are just as fucked up or more than the public.
And he
ones.
knows because he's designed and built so many roads. Right, passive aggressive asshole. Go ahead and tell us your feelings and thoughts on the topic.
Wow.
I'm just saying that I have lived in towns that have both public and private roads, and I have seen plenty of situations where the public roads are better maintained than the private ones, and it doesn't really matter, like, if you think I'm being passive aggressive.
Oh, that's neat. I have an anecdote myself. One time I saw a road that had potholes in it, and it was definitely public, and so all the roads that were smooth and clean were private. So there's my anecdote.
Okay. Well, that is basically all you were saying. That
But
is
let me mumble that under my breath real quick. I've seen all the roads that were private were perfectly smooth. That's all.
Not what I said at all. I said I've seen plenty of private roads that were messed up and plenty of public roads that were good, and vice versa. It doesn't matter. It's a completely useless statement. Everything you've said so far, iPhi, has been completely useless.
Yeah,
You
wait,
are
I want to.
You are your own definition of a evil bad person because you are useless in every single way.
See, this is the part of the aggression, Hank.
I am just bored of you, dude. You come on the panel and you just like
Because you're the one. You are the one that said.
You can
all
leave
we
if
do
you
on-
want, if it's
Hey,
bothering
listen.
you. I mean,
iPhi,
You don't have to
are
stay
the
here.
One,
That's a good point.
It's like asking the co-host to leave.
you are the
What?
one
Where'd
that
Hank go?
said. iPhi.
Yeah.
You're the one that said all we do on here is bitch.
yep, and that
Especially
just
Chris.
and he just proved it for me.
And that's all you have been doing since
That's
you
all
got
you've
here.
done the
and
whole
so
time
it's
you've been
clearly
here is bitch.
projection.
You haven't said a single non-bitchy thing.
Right. It's clear. Like we're not the ones on here bitching all the time. That's you on here looking at yourself in a mirror. Remember, this is shadow. We do shadow work here, where you face yourself.
I think when people replay the video, they'll
Because
see
you
what happened.
pretended to want to come on and talk about good and intelligent people, and every time I gave you that chance, you were the one that brought it to the bitching level.
Yep, it was me, Jeff. You're right. I'm the evil retard in this room.
I didn't
Just-
They
say
figured
that.
it out, Red.
Just because you have a hint of sarcasm in your voice doesn't mean what you're saying is completely true. You know that, right?
So, Redington, the gig is up. They caught me. And Chuck, it was nice talking to you, lad, but my cover's been blown, so they finally figured out that they weren't the evil retards in the room. It was iPhi all along. And he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Many
that's what we're
times
doing
we
here.
are the monster. that we
We're
fight.
trying to unmask a Scooby-Doo villain. You're right. That's totally our whole thing here.
So now
I
we can
think
get back to our
his punishment should be 30 days with Talcott.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, we have taken you on good faith and had good faith conversations for you for a long, long time, and yet, time after time, and since you made your whole big like high and mighty better than all of you speech about how you were leaving the panelverse and you're never coming back and you only cared about this and that and all that shit, and then you come back a week later and act like nothing ever happened, and I'm just like dude, I'm just like, unless you have something to actually say, something to actually contribute, I no longer really have anything to say to you.
Oh,
You have completely
you have been
exhausted my-
exiled from the exile.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to like, for me to say that I have no use for conversation with somebody anymore. But you've really, really just like, I don't know what's the point of you at this point, dude. your bullshit conservatarianism thing, you realize you're just putting a label on things that already exist, right? Because you don't have any original ideas. You don't have anything besides some vaguely authoritarian-ish like kind of bullshit. It's your Joshua Jones light.
I said that. I said that. That's what I said. And I still like I still like you. Like I don't feel any kind of negative way. You don't get on my nerves.
All right, cool.
I'll pass, Jeff.
All right, cool. All right, so now that that's done with, can we go and talk about something else? Anybody have any other topics about Redington? What about Chuck? Anybody else have anything that's been on their mind today?
Well, I missed the beginning of the show, so I wasn't sure what the subject was.
There hasn't been a subject. It's been iPhi bitching for 30 minutes. Is all it's been.
Yeah, bitching about how all our panel does is bitch.
And ruining my Sunday. That's all it's been doing. So.
Lay it on us, Fred.
Let's see here. Yeah, bonus point. Yeah. Jeff, were you joking earlier? Were you serious? Did you really worked for NASA at one point? Like, is that just a joke you were making, or what? Like, you just like kind of mentioned it in the comments earlier. I was like, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be a joke or like it was serious. I mean, I believe you if you. I'm not saying you couldn't have. I just didn't. You never mentioned it before.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Because if so, that's extremely interesting. I would like to hear more about that. I shouldn't have enabled the idea that the lies were working. What the hell? I don't know what you're talking about, Mitch. You did actually. Well, cool.
As a contractor, yeah. I see.
I mean, I think he's referring to Raccoon. I think.
Yeah, he
is.
Okay. Are they having like are they having an argument in the comments I wasn't noticing? Okay.
I don't know if it's an argument per se. Looks more like a conversation to me.
Okay.
I could be wrong, though. I have been known to be wrong before.
I'm not saying you are. I was just asking if that was the situation because I hadn't scrolled back up to look at everything. So, anyway, well, I mean, what was it?
Well, I gotta pee. I'll figure it out. I'll be back.
We are gonna have keep an eye out this week. We are gonna have some announcements coming up. Got some new things coming down the pipeline to look out for, guys. We have decided not to announce them yet, but I can only do a tease at this point. But we actually have a pretty cool guest coming up here in about a week or so. So look out for that. I'm still.
I guess the name wouldn't have to start with Leslie, would it?
No.
Okay, good.
No. Well, you didn't like Leslie?
No, it's fine. It's just.
No, wait. No, this is somebody that has never been on the panel before, has never been in our corner of the panel verse before, actually, for that matter. And so you guys are free to welcome to speculate, but you probably won't guess it anyway. But it's pretty cool though. But I'm not announcing it until I have it absolutely nailed down, absolutely concrete.
Confirmed, you mean?
Day and time. Yeah, but it's confirmed. It's confirmed. It's actually happening. It's just like we haven't nailed down like the which exact day and time. That's all. So I'm not announcing it until I actually have that information. So
is it somebody interesting?
It is somebody interesting. Yes.
I would hope so.
It's somebody that people have even heard of. So.
Joshua Jones.
Yes, it's Joshua Jones. Yes, that's gonna be. I'm gonna go out of my way to tease an announcement for Joshua Jones coming back to the panel.
He was on Flows last night.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's still lurking around, huh?
Yeah. And he was actually being fairly good last night.
Good.
He seems to have stabilized. or whatever
I
was
didn't
going
hear
on.
one volcano.
Oh, well, it's almost disappointing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm glad to know that Uncle Flo is back in town anyway. So
Well, you could tell he wasn't 100% yet, but
every time I tuned in, there was somebody on the panel just like spurging. So like I switched onto it a couple of times and it wasn't, and I didn't even hear him speak. All I heard was the people that were on the panel spurging there at him or against him or whatever.
yeah, I can't even remember who was up there besides Joshua.
Yeah, Spurg.
Yeah,
They're gonna Spurg.
That's the same thing around with TML stream too. I checked in on it a couple of times, but it was either he was playing videos or there was.
Yeah,
just,
last night was
not all the
pretty,
panels can
chill,
be as
actually.
exciting as this one.
you know, how did it actually go? I mean, what was the panel end up settling into?
We pretty much.
Your audio.
Yeah, your audio got up, Mo.
You went out.
Who, me?
Yeah, your audio went out, Redington.
Huh.
We missed what you said.
We're reviewing a debate between Jay Dyer and Jake the Muslim metaphysician.
Exciting.
And Jake the metaphysician.
The Muslim metaphysician.
Okay, that's a new one to me. I haven't heard of him before, so
I haven't heard of him either. But TML probably was trying to get in contact with him or something.
Okay. I mean, we're talking about like I don't know. I don't know who I'd root for in like one versus the other. Like I don't really not a fan of Jay Dyer.
It's kind of you don't root for anybody.
A Muslim metaphysician doesn't sound very up my alley either. I don't know.
Oh, you talking about Chris? You're on the panel, iPhi. Just tell him to his face.
You're allowed to speak.
iPhi, Chris, iPhi thinks you're a whiny little bitch.
Oh, I know. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Jeff's the only one that needs permission to speak.
Right.
Jeff knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about. I mean, it's just. I mean, seriously,
I don't have the same experience of iPhi as the rest of y'all are having. Like, as far as panel people go, he's by far not the worst. He's able to have a conversation, at least.
You could have.
Is he lately? I have not heard him have a conversation with anyone. Anytime, like the conversation you guys are trying to have. Like, what once did he say anything? He kept saying like, "You're not defining words. Let's just make monkey sounds," and he'd be like, and then he'd just bitch.
Maybe it's a Spurg thing. I'm having the subjective experience.
Jeff, do you want to have a conversation with me?
What do you want to talk about? And it has to be something that other people.
I want to talk about mental health. Did you enjoy Leslie's last little video?
Yeah, that's a good one.
What were your thoughts on that topic?
On mental health in general?
The last videos, the one I just linked in your.
Oh, I didn't watch all of it. I just watched a few minutes.
It was about like the conflict between like authority powers, like, you know, religion, spirituality, politics, and how it keeps fucking around with mental health, and because certain political groups take over in the name of religion and sometimes not, and whatever. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. I've made a lot of videos on that.
So do you think mental health needs to like get all the religion and politics out of it? Do you think that would be a good place to start?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
That's what we're working on. There's an organization called Critical Therapy Antidote that I've been a part of for years that is doing just that. And right now it's mostly with the wokeness because they've captured the academies where they train and learn. So they're in control of the education, and they capture the regulatory bodies and the credentialing bodies and the professional bodies. So when all of that infrastructure is captured all at once,
That
you
sounds
can-
like a conspiracy, dude.
I don't know how much of a conspiracy it is.
Capture.
I'm sure some people maybe are consciously, intentionally trying to do this, and some people, because like they train them even in the public schools now, not even at the colleges anymore, but even the public schools are trying to train them into that activist mindset. So they're churning out these activists, or this activist mentality that they're taking to everything. They're taking it to the workplace.
Exactly.
They're taking it to mental health. They're taking it to the therapist office. And the new trend in mental health therapy, it's moving away from the traditional humanistic version that, like, at least my generation is familiar with, is to like they help the patient by turning them into an activist, and then through activism and fighting the oppression, that is the solution to whatever.
Yeah, I saw
the
some of
patient is
Leslie's
struggling with
videos
internally.
about that. I was like, wow. Like,
Do you think
can
they're
it
ever
get
going to?
any more obvious?
Do you think they're ever going to solve the problem of getting politics out of mental health when you've already lost the
Well,
culture
like
war?
when you're talking about out of mental health, there's so many different components and aspects of mental health because it's such a broad abstract term. But if you're talking about the therapist office or the mental health professional's office, the dynamic between the client and the therapist, that's still the responsibility of each individual therapist and client. And it should be a collaboration. Like a good therapist or good client therapist relationship is going to be collaborative. It's not going to be authoritarian. And
but aren't most
that's where the mental health happens. If the politics are happening, that's the arena that they're happening, because that's the point of contact with the mental health system of most clients.
But
and so
aren't
when
most
you say get politics out of that, it still depends on the individual provider.
But aren't most mental health offices and clinics seen as a branch of the core medical system, like doctors and psychiatrists and by
Their
extension
Obama
psychologists?
instituted what was called the mental health parity law. So now it's supposed to be seen as the same as any other form of healthcare. And in many places, like in Washington State, they're trying to integrate them to where you get your mental health care the same place you get your physical health care, etc.
So do you think more government will help or less government will help this equation?
In my experience, you don't need a lot of government regulation to provide quality mental health care. In fact, I do it with almost none at all. And I receive it for myself when I need it with almost no regulation at all either. So it doesn't require a lot of regulation to do well. If you are going to regulate it, for Christ's sake, do it right. Like, know what you're doing and deliver the people a service that's actually going to help them. If you're going to invest all that in administration and regulation, and that's not where it is now at all.
Well, part of the problem is they've given the insurance companies too much say-so in that department.
That's some of it, but even with that, like the people on the ground, I don't think really know what they're doing in the first place.
And
so
who
the
runs
people
the
that
insurance
the
companies?
insurance companies are paying, I don't think are really. I don't know how much they're helping. And of course, this is all individual, because there are people out there that are doing really good work on an individual level. But I think if you graph it, the majority, the curve in the middle is just, it's a Band-Aid solution. They're not doing anything that's going to make progress and allow the patient to like take charge of their personal development. It's really just like for people that are at very high levels of crisis, it's stabilizing them and putting a Band-Aid on some of the symptoms maybe.
And there's a lot of mediocre quote unquote therapists that I've run into through the course of my life.
Probably, right.
And who do the insurance companies collude with, Chuck?
Themselves.
The government. And so who regulates the healthcare industry? Jeff.
Who are you asking me?
Yeah. Who regulates the healthcare industry?
It depends if you're talking public or private. But I'm sure ultimately the government's going to regulate both.
Let's
There's
start
gonna be
with the
some
public.
government hand in the regulation.
Let's start with the public. Who regulates the public healthcare industry?
Well, you have the state level, the federal level, the county level, and there's regulation at all three levels: local, state, and federal. But the federal has, especially if it's Medicaid funded or comes from Medicaid, there's going to be additional regulations to it versus if it's just ordinary regulation. But the government also regulates the private. A lot of the regulation happens at the state levels because the licensing requirements are different from state to state for many of the professions too.
And see, this is the part where you get little mumblings under their breath about how the private sector has fucked up the system because capitalism has failed us. But in fact, it's the cronyists who are abusing capitalism to collude with the government to self-serve their industry, the insurance companies and big pharma and even mega corporation healthcare groups, even doctors. People think doctors are just a bunch of independent contractors running around trying to run their own little mom and pop show, when in fact they have their own conglomerates and mega corporations that they collude just as much with the insurance companies and big pharma with the government, Jeff. And so now I think you're beginning to understand why this system is so fucked up. Good talk, dude. This is the most conversation we've ever had in our entire history, Jeff. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good. Anyone else want to chime in on this topic?
By the way, Jeff, do you know anyone who's always harping on about, how fucked up the system is, and if only we had a better system? I don't know, probably brought up some ideas about some morally founded government that's small and manageable, like libertarians, and
Did you
support
have your
capitalism.
tea? Is that 2 pots? Or are you at 2 pots yet?
2 pots of what? Tea?
2 cups, whatever, tea.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a rapper?
2 pots of tea, 2 pots Shakir.
Yeah.
Shakir. 2
Tupac
Shakur.
Whatever
he's my
his
homie.
name
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I remember when he.
Are you deflecting my question, Jeff? Is that what
No,
you're
I'm
doing
sorry, I got
while you're rocking in your
What
chair?
was your question?
I'm sorry, Jeff.
I do have a hard time paying attention to it though. What is your question?
I understand you have a hard time paying attention. That's
You're
why
giving Frank a migraine too.
I don't engage with you long form, because I can only get you in little.
Well, the streams say otherwise because you've been haunting my stream for weeks and weeks, if not months now, doing exactly what you sit here saying you don't do. So I don't know who you're trying to fool.
A lot of circle talking. Oh, now he's going to be quiet.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, either next topic or if somebody else wants to contribute to this last topic, or we can end the stream and I'll go watch movies.
No, I'll agree that government's too big. They don't need to have their hands in every single aspect of life, but we do need a core government.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we're too big. Like the scale that we exist at, we need some kind of.
Well, I mean, it's our country
way to manage and organize
if we literally broke the United States into 50 individual countries or something like that, or something like that, then some of those things would be making the government that small would be a lot more possible. But at the scale that our country exists at, I think our government's too big, but I don't think it can be shrunk down to the size that iPhi thinks that it needs to be shrunk down to. I mean, I don't know how it would. I mean, like, there's just too much. There's too many people, isn't there? I mean,
if you
broke
it down,
I'm laughing at the comments. Sorry.
Oh,
ignore.
If you broke it down to 50 individual states for each on their own, you think it's bad now. You do that and see what you end up with.
You think that would be a lot? I mean, I wasn't saying that I think it would be a good idea. I think it would be bad because then we would be opening ourselves up to all kinds of wars and things like that.
Exactly. My point exactly.
Like the union exists because the fact I'm not saying that we should break our country down into 50.
No, I'm
into
saying
20 something.
if we did, I think the outcome would be horrendous.
Yeah, I do too. I completely agree with that. I don't see like
you'd have 50 border wars going on at once.
I mean, maybe like if in that bizarre fantasy that the people in Texas have that they think that they can secede from the union, and if in that bizarre kind of weird fantasy that thing that they believe in that they could do that somehow peacefully, and then if it and only if it, and that also like reclaim them the rest of the land that they originally had as Texas was a country, and it would be big enough maybe to sustain itself, and then the United States itself would be big enough maybe, but like I mean like as it is like we'd be worse off than Europe would be, and we'd be more open, and we have engendered too much worldwide hatred. So we'd open ourselves up to attack on so many levels. It would be disastrous. I mean,
Where does
literally,
Mr. Passive Aggressive go?
how long would it take before California would become a dystopian communist hellscape, right?
Oh, if they became their own, I'm just going to say California. If
Yeah.
they became their own entity, I think you'd see so much civil unrest in California, it'd be crazy.
Yeah. Or look at imagine that instead of just the look what happened with the Chaz in
Yeah.
in
Yep.
Yeah, but isn't it also like one of the
that was-
world's largest economies? The state of California
Fifth.
alone.
I think it's the
It is,
fifth
yeah.
largest.
So it's very different from the Chaz in that regard.
It is at the same time, though. That economy is very dependent upon the rest of the country that it does trade with in order. So if suddenly they had to like hammer out all new trade agreements with the rest of the country and everything else like that, and they were really pushing and like they were still pushing things like they push in that they recently were trying to push in San Francisco with like the the $5 million reparations for people that were descended from slaves and things like that. I mean who's going to try to rationally deal with that country? I mean like it's not I mean like not to mention the fact that they have to come up with their own currency. They have to reestablish. I mean, there's so many things that have to happen for that to even become like a thing that it would. I mean, California would descend into absolute utter dystopian chaos before like they ever even try to get off the ground. It wouldn't. It wouldn't even be like in today's like environment, in today's political climate, like the idea of like any state, like I could almost see Texas just because the fact that it does have it does have an independent power grid, but California does not. California depends on Nevada for a lot of its power. I know, and water for that matter, because I used
Yep.
because I live in Las Vegas, and like that was always a big issue was the fact that there was always a lot of a lot of protests and problems with like the fact that like that California was siphoning off a lot of power and water from from Las Vegas and Nevada's whole ecosystem, and so like I mean just that alone, just I mean California, if it actually cut itself off from the rest of the union, would just like it wouldn't make it. Like I don't think Texas would either, by the way. I don't think that's a good idea either. I'm saying Texas has
I don't think
chance.
any state would. I
Yeah, I don't
think
think any state would.
we're set up for states going their own way.
Yeah, I don't think we are either. I'm not. All I'm saying is that like Texas would have a better shot because they do have an independent power grid from the rest of the country. But even that, it's not as it has been proven in the past, is not exactly that reliable. So, as happened what I don't know, like 5-6 years ago, whenever we had ice storms here and like and our
Yep.
power grid just about collapsed.
Collapse. Yep.
Yeah, we had blackouts in like huge parts of the state for in some cases months, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Thankfully here in Dallas, like I think we had like 2 or 3 days of that power at best, but still, I mean, even where I live specifically, we only had some blackouts here and there. So we didn't have anything that severe here. But I mean, that was that was during an ice storm when it was freezing fucking cold. I mean, it was cold enough people died during that. I mean, that's for real.
Was it California or New York that has the rolling power outages?
Both.
Both?
As far as I remember, I can't remember. I don't remember hearing any about New York for a while, but I knew California does still. I think they still have rolling blackouts here, or brownouts, whatever they call them.
Yeah,
Here and there.
rolling. Yeah, whatever they call
Yeah,
them.
and that, like I said, like they depend. Their power grid depends on other states' power, just because the power demands of California are so high because they have such a gigantic population there. They have such
And they import so much of their power.
Mm-hmm. And water and like they import tons and tons of water from Nevada, for example. Like the main reason that like what's the name? Let's see, what's the name that the lake that used to that Lake Mead is basically basically a puddle now.
Yeah, I watched that rain drop. Even
Yeah,
when I was living there, you could see the rain get bigger and bigger each year.
and it wasn't because of Las. It wasn't because of Las
Now
Vegas.
it's like huge. It's like half the.
It wasn't because of Las Vegas like draining it. It was because like they were literally like pumping water.
They said the way it was explained to me is that they were it wasn't getting the snow. It depends on the snowfall. I think from Colorado and other states, and they weren't getting the right amount of snowfall to fill the lake up because that's where the water.
Well, do you remember their emergency plan to refill Lake Mead a while back? They was going to build a pipeline from Louisiana, from the Mississippi, all the way to Lake Mead.
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember how that went, but I mean, it doesn't surprise
Why
me.
would they want that
I
water?
remember when I lived there. I remember hearing all kinds of crazy proposals for like trying to like.
they would have
just trying to
destroyed
fix
the
the-
Mississippi if they did that.
I know that the water levels when I lived there, the water levels had dropped so severely in Lake Mead because Lake Mead isn't a natural lake. It's created because of the Hoover Dam, and
Right.
like there were towns that existed where Lake Mead is now, and like the water levels had dropped so much that that like the top halves of some of the houses and everything were starting to become visible. You could start seeing like where some of the existing architecture of the towns that existed there were still there underwater. Wait, isn't that just insane to think like you could dive through like an underwater city and like
we got the same thing on Kentucky Lake. It's the same way. When the water goes down, you can start seeing the towns that were originally there when they flooded that area out to make the lake.
Is Tommy Tommy's cooking, or is he showing somebody cooking? Bad cooking.
He's doing a cooking show, I think.
Slammy, not the mama. No, it's some guy named Slammy. Unless he's
what happened to Mr. Passive Aggressive?
Oh, he got.
I thought that was me. I was
bored
told that
or
was me.
tired or something. He'll be.
I
back.
thought I was the whiny passive aggressive bitch. Is what I was just.
Maybe
told
this is Tommy. He's calling himself Slammy.
Yeah, that's one of.
I would stream it, but I don't want to promote his content. Ooh, it looks nasty. Oh, it's French fries in a big bowl of ketchup or chili or something.
Ew, that's not a cooking show.
No, this is like a microwave. This is microwave like college kids bachelor level cooking. Bad cooking. He does call it bad cooking.
There is a channel. There is a channel that does like there is a cooking channel. I can't remember what it's called. God,
I don't know. I'm just watching Tommy cook is not of interest to me for some reason.
Jeff. I thought about doing a parody cooking show. Not really a parody, but I thought about trying to do a comedy cooking show at one point. But back whenever I was starting to learn to cook, I thought it would be. I thought it would probably be entertaining to try to watch someone like try to like learn cooking, like didn't know, because I didn't know anything about cooking when I started learning from like those like meal kits. I'd get those meal kits in, like that's what taught, and it did. I really did learn how to cook. But for a while I was thinking like this would actually be entertaining to like see somebody like me failing at trying to follow the directions, like as you go, because like you don't really. I never really would read the instructions before I'd start cooking the stuff. So then like I'd be scrambling around trying to figure out like what I had to do next, and then there would be like terminology that I'd have to like look up and stuff like that. I remember thinking that I thought about trying to like, but my kitchen in the place I live in is so tiny. There would be no way to actually film anything. It would just be like it would be like a long shot of like you'd have to set up the camera somewhere like too far away from it so you could actually, and it would just be like this long shot of like me scrambling around a kitchen. It would be boring as hell. but yeah, I mean I think that there's legitimacy and like the concept of a parody cooking show. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. I like cooking shows. I used to watch a lot of cooking. So, like, there's a guy that says this dude can cook. I think is his channel. He's pretty cool. He has some good stuff that I learned a lot of stuff from him. I think Ryan Lagerstrom. I learned a lot about bread baking from him, and Jonathan Weissman. I learned a lot from. I learned a lot from all three of those guys, and they could seriously. Jonathan Weissman's only problem with him is that he's super dependent on like big kitchen equipment stuff. You can't do a lot of the stuff he does unless you're unless you actually have the money for the just put out in the equipment for it. You know, everything he does has like a big like stand mixer and stuff like that. And I didn't have money for any of that shit. So I think Kit Kat bar spaghetti bar. Dude, like, I mean, there's people that do that already on TikTok, though. There's people that make like worse stuff than what you just described.
Gatorade onion soup. That's Jeff. You're being nasty. Ugh.
Yeah, but seriously, I've seen TikTok. I've seen TikTok cooking that's worse than Gatorade onion soup. That's
and
not even that
Gatorade
bad.
And I love onion soup, but I couldn't imagine them together.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be awful.
I remember when we first got married. This would have been late 70s, early 80s, and the wife had an old Betty Crocker cookbook. So we would go through. Yeah, it was a big 3-ring binder.
Yeah,
and we would go through.
I wouldn't cook out of that as a kid.
I'll tell you, the worst one that was in there was a tuna fish pizza.
I don't remember that.
Good.
That was disgusting.
I don't like tuna.
Yeah, I mean, because tuna doesn't cook that well, like in the canned. I'm sure it uses canned tuna too. If you made it with fresh tuna, and place the tuna on the pizza after you cook the pizza part, if you place it on there like sushi kind of, that might work. I could see that working, but taking like chopped canned tuna fish and spreading it onto a pizza, then cooking it, that'd be bad. Yeah,
definitely did not work.
Tuna does not bake. Tuna bakes don't work that well to me personally, but I'm not a big fan of because I've had baked tuna casseroles.
I was hungry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I mean, seriously, growing up, that used to be like my grandmother used to make like a tuna baked casserole thing, and like it wasn't like
they used to put it in macaroni and cheese growing up, like our babysitters. They make the Kraft macaroni and cheese out of the box, and then they throw a can of
tuna casserole.
Or sometimes they do chopped Vienna sausage.
Yeah,
Vienna sausage,
or just hot dogs. Just chop up hot dogs, or they put canned corn beans into the macaroni. I grew up with my mom doing all sorts of throwing all sorts of extra things into the macaroni and cheese to make it last longer. I mean, you grow poor, I was poor.
Sausage and the tuna fish, and we did a lot of potted meat sandwiches.
You guys never did chop up the hot dogs in there? Like the chop up hot dogs.
We did Vienna sausages, not hot dog, because you had to cook hot dog. Vienna sausage, you could just open up the can.
Well, you just cook it, and you cook it when you're cooking the macaroni and cheese.
Ours did not do that. They chopped up Vienna sausage.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
4 out of 5 cats would recommend it. Frank.
I mean, the craft dinners are like my daughter still my eldest daughter, the 16-year-old, she still loves whenever when we were in Texarkana last, I went to the store and got her she loves those the Knorr, just like the pasta sides, you know what I mean, just like the little bags that just you put in there with the
KNORR,
or just it's the same thing as like pastaroni or whatever, it's the same thing as that, but they just come in the bags instead of the boxes. She likes the bagged ones better for some anyway. But I went to the store and just bought her 1 or 2 of just about every flavor, and and made her a big care package out of because only the money I have is usually food stamps, so it's the only thing I can really do for her is buy her extra food, and I get her that's what she likes. She likes that better than anything, and she loves to make those and for herself for lunch and stuff like that. And ramen, yeah. I've tried her because she grew up on we used to whenever she's here, she lived here. She hasn't lived here recently, but because she's been doing school and theater there. But
well, if this is where the conversation is comparing ramen noodles and
well, we were talking about
sausage.
food.
We might have reached terminus.
Okay.
No, not saying like you in particular. I'm just saying
it seems like it was at least relatable. At least it's relatable. At least people can relate to it.
And we're not arguing.
The ramen noodle audience. This is the ramen noodle crowd. It looks like it's the craft crowd for sure.
There are. Hey, you can get really good ramen noodles though. Maybe
Tommy does know his audience.
There are ramen noodles that you can buy that cost like, instead of costing like 30 cents, they cost like $1.50, and they don't have like the powder packets. They come with like a package of like a sauce and stuff that you put in there, and they're much better noodles, and like it actually tastes very close to like a restaurant ramen if you've ever had ramen from a restaurant. But like that's what my daughter, we used to take her to. That used to be her favorite thing whenever she was like 8 and 9. She used to love to go get boba and like restaurant ramen. So like
And, iPhi was talking about wanting to have conversation, but in my personal opinion, once you start taking it to the gutter with ad hominems and things like that, you've totally lost any credibility for having a conversation.
That's basically my point. I mean, and I apologize if I don't remember saying anything that was ad hominem towards him. I was trying very hard to be as blatant and factual in my little tirade as possible. I was not saying I wasn't trying to
No. I wasn't pointing the finger at you.
No, I know you weren't, but I'm just saying, just making sure, because I was not thinking through my words whenever I did that. So I don't remember what I said. But if I said anything that was ad hominem, I do apologize for that. Like blatantly, I never mean to use ad hominems. I find it to be just like, it's just distasteful and just stupid. It lowers the level of discourse for everybody involved. But I do, however, I do, however, get really. I mean, because it's one thing if it's funny. If somebody makes a funny ad hominem joke, right? Like makes like a funny jab or something. I'll laugh at it. I mean, I think it's I laugh at jokes at myself all the time. I think when it's a good joke at myself. I mean, Frank makes jokes about me, and I'm friends with Frank. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I have no issue with somebody making like an insult joke, but iPhi has no jokes. There's no humor in it. It's just like you're just I'm bored. It bores me now.
Well, Chopper Jeff the other day, Lib did get kind of dirty with me, and I hadn't done anything to him.
I know, yeah, that did happen, but at least you guys both apologized and worked it out at the end. Like that's the thing. But as you'll notice, if the one thing I've never heard iPhi do one time ever after any of his rants, no matter what he said about anyone, is ever take the time to be like, you know what, that was out of line. I'm sorry about that. Or actually express any sort of respect of any kind for anyone he's speaking to. That's something at least once he's gone to those kind of things. I have heard him say, but it seems like it's sarcastic whenever he says he's being respectful of anybody. So I don't even know. It's just like I was an iPhi defender and supporter for a long time. And anybody can go back in the streams and watch. I literally defended iPhi from tons of people. I just here lately, I just have not heard him have he
tried to sit here today and pretend that he and I have never had a conversation.
I know.
When I'm one of the few people on these streams that will bother to even attempt to have a genuine conversation with him.
And I have attempted.
And there's
to have
many streams capturing that.
And I've only had screaming matches online with two people. Where I've totally lost my cool. One was Talcott, and the other was the great white blimp.
Lib.
Paul Unslave.
Oh, Paul Unslave. Okay, I thought you meant the little lib.
Well, he seems to be nothing but a screaming man. I don't even know when he has a normal conversation.
He does it.
Every time I tune into him or see him, it's like a wrestling announcer. Like
It's called dominance.
like he has that energy cranked up the whole time to 10.
It's just a dominance feature to try
But
to
he's
control.
not. He's so beta. It's like a pose to appear dominant because you're so beta and you don't want anybody to see.
Yep.
You over.
Yep.
I can see that so clearly. So because I see the beta, the dominant part doesn't ever convince me.
Yeah. Oh, really? It's that whenever
He seems like a gorilla that's just thumping his chest.
Yeah,
if you can really do something to somebody, you don't need to sit there and thump your chest. You just go.
If
do
you
it.
need to go on to a stream in general, right? In general, and announce to the stream that you're the only intelligent person on the stream, if that's honestly your position, then I think you probably might be a redneck.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, that's what iPhi did, wasn't it? He said he was the only intelligent one.
That's who that was aimed at, Chuck.
Hell, I'll claim to be stupid when I'm stupid. I got no problem with that.
Oh, I didn't even, dude. I didn't even notice until just now. I did not notice until just now that that underneath your name you said Mr. Intelligent. I'm so sorry. If you thought that was, I did not even see that until just now. I was not trying to. I was not directing that at you. That was directed at iPhi. I am so sorry. That was not directed at you.
That's why I put it on there, because when I turned on the show, he was talking about, can someone intelligent get up here?
I did not even notice your thing had changed there. So like that really sounded like I was like ranting at you. I'm so sorry.
No, I did not take it that way.
Okay.
I did not take it. It was a jab at iPhi.
Yeah, it was a jab at iPhi.
He did make an attempt to talk about mental health, but then it didn't.
But he
ran.
He started that, and then you spoke and you talked about mental health very intelligently for like 10 minutes, and then he was like, "Well, that's good. That's the best conversation we've ever had." Where he didn't contribute anything to it, and then he ran off.
Yeah. So he pulled the rug out from his own topic. The one topic he got liftoff on, he pulled the rug out under it.
I mean, like, like
he's a saboteur. He's a self-saboteur.
I mean, Joshua Jones, like, I mean, he
that's another self-saboteur.
He blew himself up though and ran away. And like, we weren't even like, I wasn't even like.
Well, he was on flows last night.
No one was even fighting him.
I hadn't even reached that point with Joshua Jones. I never even reached that point with him because Joshua Jones, to his credit, is, despite being an authoritarian person that probably would, if in control, actually murder a lot of people, which isn't a good thing for sure. But he has a sense of humor. He's funny to some degree, and not always, but sometimes just. But like, there was something compelling there. But I just like,
Who?
Joshua Jones.
Joshua.
Oh yeah, I like iPhi, but I fall for the worst types are going to be the ones that I think are the coolest and most normal. So the whole time I had no problem with Joshua. I felt this camaraderie with him, and
he got mad and rage quit. He got mad and rage quit out of nothing. Like, I have zero idea really what I've gone back
because the explanation kept changing. He gave at least 3 different explanations for why, and tried to make me the scapegoat for all 3 of them somehow, and none of them made sense.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. But I mean, like, and then iPhi kind of tried to. He started like he pulled that same kind of crap with like, I'm leaving, going back to my.
I don't know what iPhi is up to or what he's trying to pull, because none of it.
Well,
he keeps tripping over his own feet. Like,
that's where that's where I lost my patience with.
Maybe
iPhi.
he's like, maybe it's a form of comment, like Chaplin or the Three Stooges form of this.
Well, it seemed to me
more comedy that it's not one
that
I can get behind. I can't.
It seemed to me all he wanted to do, really, from when I was watching, was he wanted to instigate a fight with Hank. That's what it seemed like to me.
Well, I think Hank was trying to start a fight too, for that matter. But that's okay. I mean, I don't mind.
Hank is in fight mode. He feels like he's taken all these scalps lately, and he is like high on trying to take down panel trolls and win panel fights.
And
he's going to end up with the Crucible, and then Andrew's going to shred him over the coals.
Even when Hank gets super fixated on something that I'm not necessarily sure why he's fixated on it or something like that, at least he's saying something. He's a point of view, a perspective that at least is like evolves and changes somewhat over time. But I have not heard iPhi like even it seems like he has absorbed nothing from all of his time on any of the panels. He is stuck in this one like tiny little niche that he has invented in his mind for himself about being this conservatarian idealist of whatever. And
Utopia.
yes, this fascist utopia he wants to create, and like it's not interesting, and it's just I'm just bored with it. I just like I just and especially whenever he decided to rage quit everything.
It's a trailer in the woods. He's trying to
bunker, mind
sell
you.
you on a lifestyle of a little trailer park out in the woods.
Yeah, I know. That people can't visit unless they're in
Right.
line with his
that is
particular
control.
ethical.
Like who you can have at your trailer is controlled, and
Yeah.
even the people you can contact by phone.
Damn.
Which sounds more like a cult actually than it does even an authoritarian.
It's his little authoritarian sadomasochistic fantasy version of Joshua Jones without the volcano. That's why I call him Joshua Jones Light.
Yeah.
But he is like Joshua Jones vacated and nature abhors a vacuum, so iPhi shows up. And when he gone, somebody else will come and take that role.
And with Joshua Jones, like I at least kind of respected the fact that he had the balls to actually go there with the volcano thing. At least he was willing to admit
he had his own self in the volcano ahead of
exactly
the majority of the rest of humanity.
Yes, indeed. Like I can respect that, even if I think it's terrifying and horrible. I still think I still respect it. I still have respect for him. I don't understand why he rage quit and left, but whatever, it's fine. I don't care. But still.
Oh crap! MoOse is here.
Hey, MoOse.
There goes the conversation.
What did we just? Oh yeah, the demon MoOse. It made that
wrong with
demon
MoOse?
growl.
Huh?
What's wrong with MoOse, Chuck?
Nothing. I like MoOse.
I know. I'm just teasing you.
He's the only person I've ever met
from the streams in
panel
real life,
verse.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for in real life, a little panel.
When he was passing through when he was going from Maine to California, he stopped by.
Whoa! You're jacking. It's the duck.
No.
The alien is back.
Yes, the conspiracies are true. Everyone's an AI.
It sounds like
you're roboting to the extreme degree. I don't know. It almost sounds like. I mean, are you using like a voice change or something? Are you doing it on purpose? Because it sounds like an intentional.
It's the voice cancellation feature in StreamYard. When you join, sometimes the voice cancellation it distorts that, so you have to turn it off. It's clear now, right?
Hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's like, oh no, the AIs are taking over. MoOse is really an AI. He's an AI MoOse.
AI MoOse.
Bro, some days I wish I was an AI, so that way I could just be non-existent.
The MoOse-nati.
Just some.
Go into hibernation mode.
The MoOse-nati are taking over.
It's just easier to be an AA MoOse. Artificial asshole. Artificial asshole.
Or you could be an authentic asshole.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there would be no point. We have so many authentic assholes. Like, why would we need artificial ones?
That's true. That's true. Can't argue that point.
Our panel verse is quite chocked full of the authentic sort. If they are artificial, in fact, then they're doing excellent work, because I fully believe it. They have passed my Turing test for assholishness.
Oh, Tommy finished cooking. Finally, I saw him at the stove, and then he took a single French fry and he dipped it into this big bowl of ketchup. After all that,
I wouldn't eat anything he cooked.
IT Crowd was something you and Chris started. You and I were going to maybe do True Detective, and then we also had, and Chris and I have a couple of shows on Sundays to get through, And we talked about, what was the other one? We had started Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, yeah.
Yeah, but
But,
how do you go from talking about Tommy cooking one French fry?
I don't know, because the comments.
Because we can't get off this topic because I was just over there too, and he's like, "Oh, I sent some clips of MoOse over to Paul, and Paul didn't use them, and he's crying about it or whatever."
Wait,
and it's
what?
like,
Tommy made clips of you for Paul to use?
yeah, he does that.
What was
the
Paul
junior
supposed to
high?
do?
The smell of junior high is.
I know, it's like, what is it? AV class, or media class? The
It's
one
crazy.
that puts out the high school newspaper.
But dude, check this out. I mean, we got to see a real crackhead cook for the first time, and all he cooked was one French fry. So it's like, now we know
the French fry
crackheads
was
eat.
all he cooked?
No, he cooked
I thought
a
he
little
had
bit
like
more.
a batch of them, and he took one and put them in the ketchup. The bowl was huge. Like, ketchup usually is fine in a little cup or something. This was like a baking bowl with ketchup.
I'm gonna go out. I didn't see it, but what you just described sounds actually like that could actually. I mean, it probably wasn't intentional comedy, but that sounds like that could actually be hilarious.
And
in
all
some
he
context,
had, like, he had his whole
the concept of it,
you
just a
saw the
giant
little
bowl of
goatee
ketchup.
beard at the top of the screen, and that's it. And then you saw like the stove, and then
Like
he was
somebody
at
making
the
tomato
stove
soup,
talking like he was teaching you something, and all he ends up with is a single French fry and a giant bowl of ketchup.
It's like somebody, let's say they're going to teach you to make tomato soup, and they squirt a bunch of ketchup in a pot and put some water in there.
It was the meth diet. I would not know.
Yeah.
But
hey, we used to do that when I was in the Army. We used to do
really?
that.
Maybe it was that
Yep.
micro. What is it? Micro gastronomy.
Starting to get
Maybe
hungry.
he blowtorched the single French fry by hand very delicately.
Yeah,
hand
I mean,
extracted a giant mixing bowl full of
This ain't
ketchup.
creme brulee, dude.
when the Bible says the meek will inherit the earth, I mean, it's definitely going to be the crackheads because they don't need anything to sustain themselves, just a little bit of crack.
It was a finger.
Oh, but it starts out as a little bit of crack, you know, and hey, and like Chopper Jeff said, he's no crackhead, he's a meth head. That's a different thing, you know. I mean, those are different things.
Well, I
Crackheads
mean,
are different levels,
only
you know?
somebody who's dabbled in those drugs would understand the difference between crack and cocaine and methamphetamines. But somebody
No
like
idea.
myself, who's only dabbled in the marijuana, I have no clue about the consistency or the whatever you want to call it between all that shit. I just know that all those people are fucked.
All I know. Okay, so
Have you ever looked at the list of ingredients they use to make, I guess it's crack?
Yeah, why do you think the dude with the bald head?
They have a
he's
list.
got the shiny
Yeah,
bald head.
There is not a
He's
list.
always
It's
happy.
two ingredients. It's
Crack
cocaine and
recipe.
baking soda.
No, they use
crack is.
kerosene. What else they use?
I would not know.
I didn't I knew an actual crackhead, and that's actually what they did. They would just take like some awfully stepped on cocaine, and they'd put it into like a pot with some baking soda.
Do we know any of this for sure? Or is this all
and a little bit of water?
Because I don't want to have drug misinformation.
There's more to it than that, I think, Chris. Unless I got the wrong drug in mind, but
well,
there's one
now,
of them.
To be fair, this
it might be
made
meth.
by,
I'm thinking of.
This was being made of an actual crackhead, so they were probably so cracked out that they didn't actually know how to make the crack. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what they came out with was actual crack. I don't know. I don't know what. All I know is whatever they came out with. I smelled it once, and it smelled like burnt tires and gasoline or something like that. And it was so foul smelling that it just about made me puke. And like,
maybe
and
it's
I
the meth
I have done meth and other drugs. I have done all those drugs when I was a kid, whenever I was younger and I was stupid. So I have done those drugs except for that. But yeah. Math is actually fairly complicated to make. It's not like a simple thing. You can't just like, throw a couple things together and make math.
Maybe meth is the one I'm thinking of. Then.
I think math is the one you're thinking of. Math is relatively complicated.
Again, I have the sense that if this is the point the conversation's gotten to,
Well, no,
sorry,
I'm just saying that
Maybe we've
it was just
exhausted the potential for
Hey,
today.
you're the one
We
that
were at
brought up the
ramen
one
noodles
French
before
fry
this.
diet.
Huh?
I said you're the one that brought up the one French fry diet.
Well, only because someone brought up Tommy, and that is a good point. I don't want like Tommy to be the content of my show.
Sad trombone.
Sad trombone, indeed.
You've gone to the toilet if that's the case.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get over with like the image of like that you're talking about, like a giant. I'm probably imagining it far too large. It's like this giant bowl.
Probably
like a big
sounded like
mixing bowl.
Well, I mean, it
full
wasn't
of
a
ketchup.
giant, but it was bigger than like a bowl you would use to eat.
Right.
something.
It just
Okay.
sounds like
I
a
see what you're
cereal
spoof
bowl.
kit to me.
And it looked like
to me that's what it
Fiesta
sounded
ware.
like.
Maybe it had those pastel colors.
Looked like he
stripes.
had a chicken finger or something.
It was a French fry.
What was that, Red?
I don't know. It's on. Go look it up. Like I said, I would stream it, but I don't want to promote his content. So just go watch the video.
There used to be a show on TBS a long time ago called Dinner and a Movie, where they would watch like they'd watch some like kind of, and then in between the segments of the movie, you know, but between like where the commercials, the bumpers, they would have these little like funny cooking segments. And one time, because like TBS and Cartoon Network were under the same company, they had the voices and the people that did Space Ghost Coast to Coast were on like the phone with them, and like as like throughout the thing. And the Space Ghost recipe that he was cooking was just called wad of bread. And he's like, well, you take a loaf of bread and you wad it into a big bowl, toast in the oven, and then lightly lightly add salt. That was hilarious. Add salt, lightly toast.
When you're hungry, you'll do almost anything.
You know, I'm growing up poor, and I've had many what's the term they use these days on TikTok? I think struggle meals, they call them struggle meals. You know, like these it's like the they do like these things that where it's just like you know, people like making like meals out of condiment packages and ramen and stuff like that, and so like that. But I've seen some of these videos where people are doing this sort of thing, and like every time I see them, I'm just like, I mean, I've been really hungry, and I've been really like I've been to the point where, like, you know, I literally had no food for over a week once, about a week and a half actually. And like, I mean, I know what it's like, but I don't know that I ever got hungry enough to take a bunch of like, you know, condiment packages. And like, I mean, and I was literally like, I was actually in like starvation mode. I mean, I was extremely hungry, but I don't.
Take care, Frank. Look for us on Discord at some point.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit later on Discord. Yeah, I showed Frank a couple of episodes of IT Crowd last night, that a couple of my favorite episodes of that. I think you'd actually like my favorite one, Jeff. I think you'd think it was funny too. It's hilarious. But I don't know if you guys ever heard the IT Crowd. But the guy that made it, Graham Linehan or something. He is like one of the pariahs of trans Twitter these days, because he did the same thing that made the same mistake as J.K. Rowling, and made a comment about how, like, you know, that you know, men can never be women can never be men thing. And like, so he's like one of the people that they all like to gang up on. They unlike J.K. Rowling, they actually successfully destroyed his entire career. So yeah, it's kind of sad, because he's really one of the he created Father Ted. I don't know if you guys ever seen Father Ted. Father Ted, Black Books, and the IT Crowd. It's like the three most famous shows he did. He's really, really funny guy. But yeah, but he got canceled.
I would have to agree with the thought, though, that one can't be the other. I don't care how you slice it, dice it.
Right. No pun intended, right?
Yep.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of the conversation with Lib the other day when he got so excited.
Yeah. Oh, he's been summoned. Look what you did.
Somebody summoned him.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my. Welcome.
What
have
we done?
Come on up, Lib. You know you got a homie with
listen,
MoOse.
Is Lib and iPhi the same
I think me and
person?
Lib talked before.
No, in
about
fact, they
Gremlin.
hate each other. iPhi can't stand Lib. Like
Maybe
Lib
that's the
used to
work.
be everybody's scapegoat till iPhi showed up, and now it's moving Lib out of the scapegoat spot.
Someone
That's
did
right.
the seance.
Well,
And people are actually like, I really like that Lib person, but this iPhi guy.
Yeah, iPhi hated MoOse and Lib, right?
Why did he hate? What's the
Oh, because I said the joke about the pegging. Going into the forest, getting pegged in the bunker, and that wasn't funny. It was funny to everybody else, though.
Everybody else
So
thought it
he
was funny. I thought it
expects
was
everybody
very
else to
funny.
have a sense of humor except for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, I've been summoned.
Yes, you have been
Welcome.
summoned.
Magic does exist.
High-five if you're out
The
there.
only trans thing I mentioned, I was talking about how
Graham Linehan.
Graham Linehan,
Yeah. For what it's worth, I think the Graham Linehan stuff was way over the top. J.K. Rowling, not so much. J.K. Rowling received a pretty, I think, expected reaction, and then instead of being an adult and shutting the fuck up.
How is that being an adult? That sounds like being told what to do. Being compliant and obedient. That's not adult behavior.
Yes.
That's child behavior.
With
you as the authoritarian
I don't like J.K.
Well,
Rowling.
Sounds like being a pussy bitch to me.
For what it's worth, the only reason I say that is because her then reaction was to like make friends with a bunch of exceedingly anti-trans people, some of whom are not exactly just anti-trans. They're also crazy alleged neo-Nazi sympathizers.
Okay.
But that is what happens. To be fair,
my world.
I mean, sure, but like I'm holding. Sure, you're right. You're right. I'm holding J.K. Rowling responsible for her. She had a reaction, and I'm holding her responsible for her own actions.
Sure,
what she did.
What? Yeah. So who are like? Who cares? She's a billionaire. Who are
I'm
you?
aware.
To impact her life.
Yeah, that's what. I mean,
wait. Hang on, Jeff. Is it unreasonable for me to criticize people?
Hold on one
that's
second,
not what you
Jeff.
said.
We got to take a time out
I'm
here.
holding her accountable to.
Okay, maybe I should. What I'm saying is, I think it's reasonable to criticize people, regardless of whether or not I'm going to actually have any effect on what she does. I will nonetheless criticize her when she does something.
You can criticize
stupid or
anybody
bad.
you want. Yeah. You can hold anybody you want accountable. That you have to give us a reason to care why you're doing it. Otherwise, who cares?
Well,
I think associating with people who are sympathetic to who are explicitly sympathetic to neo-Nazis is worth criticizing.
Fantasy, there's no Nazis to worry about.
No. It's not.
I'm not worried about Nazis.
I love your no. You do it every time.
Because Jeff thinks that when I say things like, oh, she sympathized with neo-Nazis, he thinks that I meant like, oh, she one time said she was a vegetarian and Hitler was a vegetarian, so that means
how
that
do
she's
you know what I think?
I think
you're just making it up. That's
my apologies.
You are
I'm being
of what is in my head.
Okay, then what do you think? What do you think I mean by that?
I don't know what your point. Like, what you're trying to accomplish.
What neo-Nazi is she associated with? Because I don't know that. I watched that entire ContraPoints video. The entire ContraPoints video on her last one she did on J.K. Rowling, and honestly, that was like the worst video I think ContraPoints has ever done because like she made this whole big deal about she created this whole Mott and Bailey like argument thing where she literally explained what Mott and Bailey was, and then went on to do a Mott and Bailey the whole video, and it was just like, to me, I thought it was
Zarathustra's Serpent has a ton of videos taking down ContraPoints, and
I actually like Zarathustra's Serpent. I actually really like him. I discovered his content a long time ago. I would actually probably say that he was one of the first I think like YouTubers that I started seeing when I started sort of like getting pulled out of the alt-right pipeline. You know, he's actually quite influential. Actually, no, what I'm referencing is that she is very good friends and a defender of a lady named Kelly J. Keene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of who she is.
Yeah, another person I don't care about. Like these are not like stormtrooper Nazis ready to take over America. None of these people.
Hey Jeff,
I didn't. Oh, hang on.
Hold on. I'm talking real fast, Lib. Are we turning this shit into the View, Jeff's version and Chris's version, or what?
I said that
Jeff,
the other day.
Oh shit!
I never said she was a stormtrooper, Jeff. Why are you making inferences about what I said?
I'm talking about your thing with the neo-Nazis and fighting Nazis and Nazi this and Nazi that. And I'm Kelly J. Keene. I'm not worried about her as a Nazi. So you're trying to like make this little scenario narrative where, oh my God, J.K. Rowling is associated with Nazis.
Well, no, she's associating with anti-trans people, some of whom are neo-Nazi supporters.
Gets me excited about anything. It's just,
it's not about titillating.
It's just this sensationalistic, dramatic narrative.
Is it sensationalist? Is it sensationalist?
I don't take it seriously enough to be threatened by any of it.
What would cause you?
I don't
to take
care
it seriously?
if J.K. Rowling knows Kelly J. Keene or anything like that.
It's not knows. Oh my God!
It's not an indication of America's about to be taken over by Nazis to me.
Why did I say that?
No, but we've had these conversations before where you do.
I'm aware, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about what I said.
You are the ones that brought up the associations with Nazis and neo-Nazis.
I do think if you're
out of the blue for no reason.
I do think that if your response to being criticized on Twitter by random trans people, and your response is to then get behind a bunch of other anti-trans people, some of whom are explicitly supporters of neo-Nazi movements.
I never heard
all I've been saying the whole time is I don't care. I don't care about any of these people.
What is a neo-Nazi?
I'm not threatened by them. It's a non.
Yeah, Chuck. So neo-Nazi is actually a pretty broad term, and when you're talking, and specifically in Kelly J. Keene's instance, we're talking about a group of Australian neo-Nazis, though she has had some pretty heavy interaction with other sort of like far right movements just around the world. Neo-Nazi typically is people who are ideologically fascist and also anti-Semitic. That is usually like that's the combination you're usually looking for. Is I will say that, and usually when we talk about like specifically neo-Nazis, they're usually people who hold the Nazi regime in some sort of high esteem or regard, even if they're not German, which is why they're called neo-Nazis. Basically, they don't have any actual like connection to.
Kelly J. Keene holds the Nazi regime in high regard. She said that.
I thought you didn't care, Jeff.
That's the question. You don't have to answer the question, but this is your opportunity to answer it.
I'm asking the question because I'm genuinely curious because like I don't know very much about Kelly J. Keene. All I know about her is from that ContraPoints video where she was her last one, and I didn't remember her mentioning anything about the neo-Nazi connection. So I just remember seeing how she was a TERF and she was like really militant and stuff like that. I didn't hear anything about the neo-Nazi connection. So
she is quite a militant TERF. However, her connection with neo-Nazis more has to do with she organizes alongside neo-Nazis and other far-right groups. The one I'm specifically talking about is she was holding one of her TERF rallies in Australia, and a bunch of and a neo-Nazi group from Australia came in support and like was a part of her rally. And then when asked about it later, she was asked to condemn a group of neo-Nazis, and she said, "I don't condemn anybody who stands with me." And then afterwards, hang on, Jeff.
That's the breadcrumb of your narrative.
Well, that's the breadcrumb.
I don't condemn anybody who stands with me.
Hang on. Well, first off,
I will never complain about the ramen noodle conversation again. I'm sorry that I did. I would do anything to be able to get back to it.
Cool. All right. Fine. I'll shut up.
No, go ahead.
No. He doesn't. No, he doesn't want me to. That's fine.
That's never stopped you before. Come on.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of it though.
I mean, to the same degree that Jeff is apparently a much more tolerant of iPhi than I am. I am much more open and tolerant to hearing the things you said because I think you actually make points. But yeah, that's my argument for that. I think you actually make points and actually at least represent, you have a
Yeah, well,
you have an evolved
How about let's play?
It's fine though because whenever Jeff does this, everyone also in chat starts to Jeff along with everyone in chat starts to fucking say things that I didn't say. Like for instance, this is a wild stretch to call J.K. Rowling a neo-Nazi.
Like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I call J.K. Rowling a neo-Nazi?
No, you just said that she associated with someone.
Okay, so let's play a game real fast, guys. I got cut out for a second there. Let's play a game. Whoever calls somebody a Nazi, we're just gonna throw them off the panel because Nazis haven't been around in how many years? And comparing everything to Nazis is just retarded.
Lib and I have had this conversation so many times about when you say Nazi and there's not like any real Nazis around, right? You're not talking about Nazis.
Oh
and he's like, no, I'm talking about neo-Nazi. And
okay, so first off, I did say. First off, I did say neo-Nazi from the beginning. I did not call the group. First off, it is a separate group of neo-Nazis.
This is what I got out of you so far. Is it's people who revere the Nazi regime, which I think of people like Nick Fuentes, who's the only person I can even think of off the top of my head remotely even revering the Nazi regime.
I mean, do you want?
Then I need to see examples of what you mean by revering the Nazi regime.
Hang on, Jeff. Do you want me to go to the Southern Poverty Law Center
and the one you gave so far was Kelly J. Keene saying, "I stand with people who support me."
No, you're absolutely misrepresenting basically everything I said. Like everyone else.
Okay,
so
let's calm down. Let's calm down. Mm-hmm. I know this is a hot button issue for you. I know this is something you.
That's the last thing you say to a woman before you get killed, bro. You say it's
not so much a hot button issue as I'm kind of fucking sick of Jeff pretending like he's understanding and restating what I said when in fact he is convoluting and abjectly misrepresenting everything I say.
Just restate what you were saying.
How about you quit? How about you quit misrepresenting me?
All I said was that the what I understand so far about what you said about neo-Nazi is that someone who reveres the Nazi regime, and the example you gave of it was Kelly J. Keene saying that she supports people who stands with her. Because I said I would need to see examples of what revering the Nazi regime looks like, because
was that so hard?
Is the only one I can think of off the top of my head that openly does it, and nobody takes him seriously. So I don't like Nick Fuentes does not rise to the threat level.
There's more people take him seriously than
I think neo-Nazis occupy for you.
Still,
Since we're all going to identify as something, I'm going to identify as a superior intellectual being. And not superior to you guys, but just superior to all. I'm going to be the god of all intellects right here, okay? I'm going to proclaim myself that from today henceforth.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, our secretary will make a note of it.
Yeah.
MoOse now has that position, whatever he identified as. So Lib, that's all. I don't know what all this other stuff you're saying. I don't know what it's in reference to.
Oh, it's in reference to to you misrepresenting me.
Well, did anything I just say misrepresent you?
That didn't.
I'm framing my understanding of where we are in our communication so far.
Well, the problem is
I'm telling you what I understand of it up to this point.
Sure. So why didn't you say that instead of misrepresenting?
I did. I said like 2 or 3 times by now.
No. You just correctly restated what I have said. However, previously you kept either misstating me or attributing to me things that I did not say, which is a thing that you criticized me for, rightly so.
Because you did that to me.
Exactly, and you did that to me.
Well, okay,
so we're agreed.
Are we at the point where we have?
So are we at the point where we will
past all that? Like what I just summarized is that.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, no, yeah.
Can we just fist bump it out right now?
So you saying you want to fight instead of discuss? Because I can do that too. I was in discussion mode. I can switch to fight mode. We could back up to whatever issue. But that seems like a step backwards than picking the conversation up from where we are.
Well, if the discussion mode involves you intentionally misrepresenting my position, then no.
How about when that happens, just say, hey, you misrepresented my position. This is what I really think.
Well, but the problem is I do say that. I did say that, and it took several times of me doing that to get you to this point. Whereas, do you want to rewind the tape? Do you want to rewind the tape?
I don't want to do it right this moment, but we certainly can. Like anybody can.
I'm do it like right now. What I'm trying to do is level a, I think, genuine criticism, because this is also a place where I fail. The difference between you and me is you tell me, I realize that I have overreacted or spoken in haste, and
what? I've never used those words. Spoken in haste.
No, I say that. That's what I realize, is that I have been putting on too much hyperbole or whatever that has misrepresented your position, and I apologize and move on. And when I attempt to say that to you, you say, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. Of course I haven't. I'm just attempting to have a little bit of, tit for tat, like.
Okay. All right. Well, it was just miscommunication when it comes down to it between, it was a misunderstanding. I honestly, I don't think either one of you were really. I do think I understand like how
I don't understand. I have no idea what Lib's talking about, but I
understand how Jeff misinterpreted what you said. I understand. I mean, not iPhi, so Lib. I was just thinking you said I fail a second ago, and I was just thinking I fail. It would be I was thinking of renaming I fail, but
which has been done before.
Oh, has it? Oh, damn.
Oh, damn it! I didn't know.
Guilt by association.
Hey, fatty.
But so anyway,
yeah, Jeff, I'll find the timestamp and I'll show you, just so that I know, just so you know what I'm talking about, so that I'm not just talking out my ass. I'll do that later, though.
Well, that'd be like Jeff having a cause out
Chuck,
there.
you're about to get thrown out of here.
And just because Jeff is a gay man doesn't mean I support gay issues. I was supporting a certain stand he took. That's you're trying to associate fringe items into a mainstream effect. If that makes any sense.
Oh, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to do this. I don't think that Jeff is, a TERF or a neo-Nazi or anything like that. We were talking about other people who are.
Some people,
right.
Like your friends would find me that.
There's people that might call him that, I guess. But
yeah,
it'd be weird considering, I don't think he's a feminist. So
yeah.
He's not a feminist, so I don't know how he could be a TERF. So.
I think Jeff's probably a feminist in a lot of the same ways that I'm a feminist, but
I'm not a
don't
feminist.
think.
I see. Like if anything, Jeff is a self-proclaimed misogynist. If anything.
Oh well, we're all look at who among us does not hate women? Okay.
I don't.
I don't.
Well,
I don't hate,
but
I
hate people.
Have a level of
I don't hate women. I hate people. It's different.
I hate certain women.
No, I hate people I don't know. I'll say that.
I'm an equal opportunity hater.
That I do.
Like my thing is, who am I likely to fight with? Who is conversation likely to break down with and conflict escalate with? And it's usually not all women, but a certain type of women that is very prominent around here. And in the past, I've had a lot of conflict. If conflict is going to happen, statistically, it's going to happen more with a woman than it will with a man, because men can handle the type of conflict.
Apparently, I'm of the serpent seed.
Better than women can.
The serpent seed.
I'm the serpent seed.
You're a
that.
Snake person.
I'm a snake person, I guess.
Oh my! Oh my!
Well, Jeff is the serpent.
Things just got real, y'all. Things just got real.
I'm the serpent seed. Ooh. I don't.
You can tell the smackdown is coming now.
I'm so called out, Lanza.
Look,
Oh
you got. I
no.
think you can never tell with Fatty, but I think this is a high compliment from him.
Yes, I do think that. I do
think
believe
so.
that is a. I believe that is actually. Yes, and I agree
Oh
with that.
well,
I
you might
agree with that
be
statement as
right
well.
now, but
I think
we do have
hyperbole.
women that hang out. Lindsay's here, Chris's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
Lindsay's
do
here too.
have other very cool chicks, gals that hang out here.
Yeah.
Women.
You
Yeah,
got
you're right.
And
me.
Ladies.
I wish they would come. I wish they would come on panel more often. I personally, I love women.
Mhm.
I do
was, I mean,
too. So
I have,
I got a
Lady Bug.
I
question.
grew up with 3 sisters that I love, and my
Mhm.
mother, and my 2 daughters, and like I'm surrounded by women. I've been
We
around.
have a
I've
woman
spent
in this
way
panel
more
right
time around
now.
women than I have
Yeah.
men, really, to be honest. So, but I understand. Where Jeff's coming from. Jeff is kind of allergic to a certain kind of woman, and honestly,
Because
I
they're
think
allergic to me. They are
yeah,
the
and
ones that
and
can't seem to.
from the footage I've seen of Kelly J. Keene, I'm pretty sure she would fit right in that category with the rest of those women too, because I don't think you'd like her either.
Chris,
Actually,
everybody
yeah,
on
she's,
panel fits in here. Lib is our Leah Thomas. You know what I mean?
I'm your Leah Thomas. Hey, look. Okay, Leah Thomas is fucking based as hell, so I take that as a compliment. The trans swimmer.
The trans one that
Based
Yeah,
as
that's a
hell.
world
she won the
champion right
medal,
there,
or she
Lib.
tried to. Leah
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, Leah Thomas.
You know what? I used to.
I know it's spelled fucking weird.
I used to feel. Kind of like on the more the right side of that issue, but these days I'm like, you know what? Swimming's a stupid sport, so I don't really give
It kind of is. Also, notably, Leah Thomas was already like basically a fucking phenomenal athlete, and when she
Makes you pretty physically fit, though.
after she transitioned, there was actually a noticeable decline in her performance. I actually remember going over this. She because she was transitioning, going on HRT, there was a noticeable decline in her performance. But she's still like, her performance was phenomenal to begin with. So
yeah, because she was a man compared to women.
There's
yeah.
no
no.
Yeah.
She was no. Hang on. I'm gonna pull this up. She was when she was participating in the men's league, she was already like one of the best.
I thought she was like ranked in the low teens.
She had no right being in the women's side.
Yes, low teens in nationals, Chris.
Yeah, well, okay, but still, I mean, but didn't
Can we go back to ramen noodles, please?
So among hundreds of people participating,
anyway, I don't care.
She was athletically better than most.
Every famous male swimmer is a complete fucking moron. Did you remember Ryan Lochte? Remember that guy?
That's true.
So, so I'm like, it's fine. To me, I'm also someone who says, like, I think all athletes should do steroids because it'd be more entertaining. So, like, I say, hey, it just makes it more fun to watch as far as I'm concerned. Although we did try to watch that god awful, by the way, and it is god awful. The Daily Wire's
the Lady
attempt at
Ballers?
comedy. Comedy Lady Ballers. We attempted to watch. We did watch it. I watched it. I watched it all the way through.
Look, if we're paying someone $2 million to throw a football, I don't. That's part of their paycheck, right? Like they should have to slam their wrist with whatever drugs can make them perform at top notch. That's how I feel.
How was Lady Ballers? I'm genuinely curious.
I didn't even finish it. I tuned out of a lot of it.
Was it really?
Oh God!
I mean, like I wasn't expecting something much, but
it has like 3 or 4 moments that that approach being funny. Okay,
I wanted to like it too,
but there's none of them have anything to do with the concept. Unfortunately, the concept itself, I think, could actually be funny.
What a Woman Is was
no.
But it doesn't have the movie does not have the no pun or no pun intended. It does not have the balls to actually go for the joke it needs to go for to make the comedy work. It's just not. It's not brave or bold or anything about it. It's a cowardly it has this try hard energy to it. It's so sad to see of people of people that like the guy that in high school that really wants to be the class clown
Yeah.
really hard, like that
Well, I
kind of
mean,
energy.
that's Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, no,
Ben-
he's not.
Ben
No, that's not even. No,
He-
this is Ben Shapiro.
He,
Ben
he
Shapiro is a nerd.
wanted to write movies. That was
Yeah,
the thing.
he didn't write this though.
Who the fuck wrote this?
Jeremy
even?
Boring, I
Jeremy,
think. Jeremy
what's his
Boring
name?
wrote and directed it.
Yeah.
That's poignant name.
The funniest moment in the movie is whenever it does a blatant, like it blatantly does a record scratch stop and has an ad for Jeremy's razors in the middle of the movie for no reason except for because like they're trying to like do like the kind of like a parody, it's almost a parody of the Wayne's World product placement thing. It's the closest thing it came to making me laugh, and it only because of how absurdly bad it was and how absurdly just cringy it was that it made me. The movie is cringe in the worst way. The whole time I'm just like, oh, this is like, because like there's some talent in it. Okay, it's not a completely like untalented. It's not the worst shot movie I've ever seen. It's competently shot. It's not. Some of the acting is actually okay, but the writing just fails it on every level. I mean, it just like there's like 2 or 3 little visual gags in it that are actually kind of funny. There was one in particular where like the main character played by Jeremy Boring, which it's just the funniest. I just so funny to me that he like uses that as his stage name. Like, why wouldn't you change your last name for entertainment purposes? Like, I mean, it's just like he literally just goes around just calling himself Mr. Boring. It's just very funny to me. But anyway,
I mean, it is. It's a little on the nose. I have now read about him on Wikipedia, and
in the beginning of the movie, there's a point where like he's like this coach, and he goes back. I mean, it's tries to be absurd. It's like he goes back to some place he used to work like 20 something years ago, and says that they said I could. He's like, they said I could come back anytime. And so I'm back, and he's in this, and it's a different. It's not even the same place anymore. It's not even the same. Now it's like a trans bar, I guess. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. I have no idea what this place is supposed to be. It's like it's a place where just trans people just are. It makes no sense. It's like in and on its face is absurd. And I think the funniest probably visual gag it has is the fact that it immediately cuts to like Jerry Boring's character after he sees one of his former basketball players like in women's in women's clothing and everything. It immediately cuts to him like with like earrings and like and makeup on and everything, sitting at a bar like talking, and like that was like that's like the closest thing it actually came to being like really funny. Just because it was like just kind of how quickly this character but it's
This is why you guys hate women, because you make them dry.
What, me?
I'm just fucking with you, Chris.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I'm loving this film analysis, by the way. I had no intention of watching it from the beginning, and so I'm encouraged.
I watched it out of morbid curiosity, and I wanted to see if like there was anything in it. And I made some predictions near the beginning of it. All my predictions came true. Actually, I was more charitable in my predictions than it turned out to be. Yes. And it's not even like I said, it doesn't have the balls to actually take the premise all the way. It pulls back and turns into like a moral message at the end, and it's stupid, and it's just like and it has like these moments that are just so obvious, like Daily Wire talking points, like just like inserted into the dialogue as moments of like little speech type things. It's maybe not. It's the same problem that I have with the trend of it's the same problem that all the movies that they're mad about, all the woke movies, how they keep inserting the message into their movies, right?
Yeah.
So like they're doing the exact same thing, just like Christian movies did for years and years and years. The reason why all Christian movies
because they don't actually have
terrible.
an issue. They don't have an issue with messages being put in movies. They have an issue with that message.
With that message, yeah. But to me, any movie that like goes out of its way to inject a message like that, to put these moments of like, and this is how we're showing we're allies with this, or this is how we're showing how we're against that. Any movie
has to have
does
something
that shoehorns that kind of shit in there. I will always like recoil from. They're always though. It's to me, it's like every Christian movie that's ever been made, like especially the ones made back in like the 80s and stuff like that, that were the really bad ones that were like they were just so they always
honestly, even the ones made today, I'll say like weirdly enough, the God's Not Dead series, franchise, whatever, kind of came back for me. The first one was god awful, but then after that, they kind of leaned in to what they were, and it became not quite a parody of itself, but like they by I think that was the fourth movie, there was like basically the hints of like criticizing their first movie. Which
I never watched them because like
more self-aware than I give them credit for.
I never watched them because like they're so like they just, I don't know, I grew up having to watch like Christian movies in church and stuff like that, and like and even as a child like that had only like the slightest little like knowledge of like media literacy, I knew that these were bad movies. You know, I knew they were
as
bad,
someone who likes doing film criticism, I think you would enjoy the first one just because it's so full of just things to criticize.
I'm sure it's hilariously awful. I'm sure it is. I've seen at least large clips of like there's that whole like channel, that whole cable channel where there's that one pastor that like that just makes like Christian versions of like there's like a Christian version of John Wick that I watched like half of, and it is hilarious. It's hilariously awful because like it's like he's like killing people and stuff, but he's also a believer in and it's very like it's just very weird, like but it's all bloodless too. It's all like they don't it doesn't have the balls to actually be a full-on action movie. Now on the other hand, like if you want to see a Christian movie that is like is hilariously terrible, watch the sequel to the Megiddo, which is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and it has some legendary like B movie actors in it. Like, so look it up, look up the cast of that movie, and you'll see what I mean, and you'll be like, oh my god, yeah. I'm telling you, a really poorly rendered CGI Satan is like stomping around like Godzilla at the end of it. Okay, I mean that.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. It kind of reminds me of. Did you ever watch Bible Man?
Oh yeah, I grew up with like Bible Man and Salty and like all those like children's all those Christian children's things, and like I didn't like them when I was a kid, and I liked them.
I didn't either.
Whenever I was still a church kid. Okay, I was like 14 or 15. I was into writing, was what I was into ever since I was trying to be a writer ever since I can remember, and I went to this this like 2-day seminar thing here in Dallas. Like my grandparents brought me here to it. They brought me here just to go to this seminar thing that was like this guy that he actually wrote a couple of Christian novels that weren't too bad, but it was like something I was allowed to attend and everything because it was a Christian thing and everything. And it is this whole like live writing seminar for kids and about how you could how to teach you how to and part of the in the thing that was like they gave us like they split us into groups and they had us like take like a stupid premise. Okay, they gave us this premise that was this is what they had. This is the premise we all had to work to make a skit. That it's someone is serving dinner, serving spaghetti for dinner, but the spaghetti is made of worms. That's what we had to work with. Okay. This is a premise that wouldn't even like. I
thought I knew it was gonna be, but oh my god, it's so much worse. What?
It's so much worse, right? Okay, this is how much I clash with the world I grew up in. I sat down with like the other people that were my thing, and like everybody else, and we were all just like, what do we do with that? Because like they kind of put us like with kind of like people our own age, more or less, right? We put us like with our age group, and we had to write and perform the skit. That's like a 5-minute skit, and like we had like 20 minutes to do it. And so we had to write and perform the skit in 20 minutes. And I was like, I remember saying to the other kids, I was like, this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. I have no idea how to make this funny. I was like, okay, what if like while like we're like there's 2 kids and they're making dinner for like their mom and like their pastor, but they accidentally pour a bottle of tequila into the water instead of like it, or it gets knocked into the water, and so there's a worm in it, so they put more worms in it to hide the worm, from the tequila worm, and then the people, and then the pastor gets drunk or something eating it or something. That's actually what we went for, and it was it. I will say that like the tiny little like audience we had was so shocked and horrified by what we did. It was so like,
Oh God.
I didn't get like after it was over, it was like that was the end. This was the finale of the whole thing. So there wasn't anywhere else to go. So it wasn't like I got kicked out, but I'm pretty sure I would have been earlier on. But like I remember after we finished our thing, which we're the only one that from the other kids in the audience, the kids laughed at our skit. Nobody laughed at any other skit because we actually the kids we had actually performed it pretty well. Like they actually sold it. Like they were pretty good. And I just kind of played like I was playing one of the kids doing the thing. I was acting like I was doing a nervous, a 14-year-old version of Woody Allen, I guess. And I felt like we actually got laughs from the audience, so I felt pretty good about it. But then the guy that got up there, the guy that was hosting the thing, he came up to me and was like, okay, well that was something. So that was so yeah, so that's we're gonna reconvene in the because it was out of church. We're gonna reconvene in the main sanctuary to for like the final thing, guys. Let's see you guys later. That was interesting. He said to me, and he kind of glared at me. He glared at me like the whole time, like for the rest of the thing. Like he didn't. He went up and talked to like everybody else. And he kind of came and talked to me. He was like, he's like, well, you certainly came up with a different idea than everybody else did. So, good job. And kind of walked away. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying like that's when you have that kind of shit to work with, right? And everybody else just did. I don't even remember what anybody else did, but it was just. I'm just saying like I always clashed with the ethics of the whole world, right? I've always been like an outsider in exile, if you will, an outlier in exile, but watching Lady Ballers was like watching one of those Christian movies, but without. Yeah. And I mean, it does mention Jesus, I think, once or twice. I think it mentions
it's Daily Wire. I'm not.
It mentions some Christian stuff, but it's like it's a message movie, and message movies. The only thing I think the Daily Wire did put out that Run, Hide, Fight movie wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. I didn't hate it. It was like, I mean, yeah, it was like about a school shooting type thing, but it's just about like somebody who fights back against a school shooter. I mean, it's not like it's hardly the most like it doesn't. It's like people made fun of it as like it was a really right wing thing, but it really didn't seem like anything that Hollywood wouldn't do anyway. It looked like it was just like like one of those movies where someone tries to like save the president from the White House being invaded or some shit like that.
I'm gonna
high school.
Save this broadcast with a 30-second commercial. Jeff, do we have a PayPal link or a Cash App or something that people could donate to? People of the congregation, we need some funds. We're running out of ideas. We're turning into The View. We need to get some higher
Well, we're
budget.
trying to get monetized. Once we get monetized, we will have all that. We're about halfway there.
We're halfway to getting monetized.
Okay, I'm sorry, my story bored you so much, MoOse. I'm sorry.
No, Chris,
you've made me feel very sad. I'm very sad.
Part of that's my fault because I'm supposed to moderate and keep it on track, but I never know when to.
I love your story, Chris. It's not that I don't like it. Don't take my interruption as a negative. It's a positive. It's just trying to give you a breath so that way the audience can think for a second, and then bam, you come back and you drop them.
He's still got his producer hat on. That's why he's trying to help.
We need a producer hat around.
You're well within your reason for the criticism. I know I rant or ramble too much. I do apologize.
So does Lib though. That's why I always interrupt Lib.
I thought it was kind of a funny story from my childhood, but I guess really in retrospect it's not that funny. But
it's kind of funny. I liked it.
It's true.
No, but
anyway,
you can finish it, Chris. We love the finish.
I did finish it. It's over.
He wanted to make the joke. It's fine.
in any case, my point is that my ultimate point was I don't know how I got off on that really tangent. I'm sorry about that, guys. But Lady Ballers is a should be like taught in schools as an example of what not to do to make a comedy. That was my ultimate point.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be at least slightly higher quality. I was expecting there to be like some merit to it, but
it has. I say it has 3 or 4 like tiny little visual gag moments
that's
were
not
funny
merit.
enough. Okay, it's more than I can say for a few other comedies I've seen
That's
in recent
fair.
years.
That's
I
fair.
mean, like there have been comedies that have come out in theaters in recent years. Like I tried to watch that one with Jennifer Lawrence in it. That came out not long ago. I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called now. It's like it's the whole thing. The whole premise is that like it's like some parents hire some like woman to try to deflower their nerdy like post high school age boy, basically.
Oh.
And I think it's like no hard feelings. No hard feelings. That's what it was called. Oh God, it was it wasn't cringy or anything. It was just
It's just
boring.
bad.
It
Yeah,
was
no,
boring, and it was
it
boring,
sounds,
and
yeah.
it was trying to be a Fairly Brothers comedy from back. It was trying to be a Fairly Brothers comedy. And it just didn't have. It had no teeth. It had no. There was nothing to it. It was just boring. But I mean, I will say that Lady Ballers is boring after a while. At first, I would say I was morally fascinated, but by the end of it, it's just like I kind of tuned out.
It's kind of like how people say like, oh, so and so couldn't be, that this funny comedy couldn't be made today because it's too offensive. It's not that it's too offensive. It's that comedies today are just they're hard to make funny anymore. They're boring all the time.
Well,
we're never going to see another Anchorman because it'll just be boring.
No, they try to be too safe.
Yeah.
They try to be too safe these days. I mean, like it's like comedy requires you to push people out of their safety zone. It really does.
Yeah.
In order for people to something really funny, you have to be pushed out of your safety zone, and it can be done in ways that doesn't necessarily have to be transgressive in every case. It doesn't have to be offensive, but it has to push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And
how do you think I feel every time I interrupt you? I'm afraid you're going to throw me out.
No, you don't. Oh, MoOse, he doesn't have the power to throw you out. I'm the only one.
And I would never throw you out, MoOse. I love MoOse.
Interrupt away.
To paraphrase Anchorman, I love MoOse. So
60% of the time, it works every time. Still my favorite line.
There's a pants party that you're, and I was wondering if you'd like to.
God.
I would say there's a party in your pants, and I'm invited.
Oh my God. I need to rewatch that movie.
Steve Carell in that movie is so fucking funny. He's just like I don't know, Steve Carell like made me burst out laughing sometimes in that movie.
He was really good.
It's a shame that the sequel wasn't that bad either, but it wasn't nearly.
You can't top the first Anchorman, unfortunately.
Yeah, you really can't. It's like a lightning in the bottle type of thing.
Yeah,
it's like I'd be like trying to do a sequel to Tropic Thunder or something like that. Like
actually, yeah, no, I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think that would be good.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. I just rewatched Tropic Thunder the other day. It really
holds up.
Really
yeah,
well.
No, it does.
It really does. Robert Downey Jr. is insanely good in that movie. It is so weird that it's Robert Downey Jr. Seriously, the whole time watching, I forget it's Robert Downey Jr. on screen. Like the whole time, I just completely forget.
Well, the thing you got to remember is there's a reason why the Iron Man movies are basically the best Marvel movies. Period.
Oh yeah.
And it's Robert Downey Jr. Like,
yep.
A lot of that is also they were, I think, well written, and then after that they just kind of developed their quote unquote style and drove their style into the ground.
They created a template. Well, I mean, like there was a vision for that first, like the first whatever phases up through the end game thing, up through the big event, up through the big Thanos thing. There was a vision in place, and after that, like the only thing they could have done was a full reboot. of the entire universe. Trying to continue from that point was stupid and pointless. If they really want, they should have like given Marvel like 5 years off, like they just like stop doing Marvel movies for like 5 years and then come back and just
they rushed
restarted with
Yeah.
something else, like it restarted with a different superhero, like they did with Iron Man or something like that, because they did something incredible with that series up to that point. I mean, you can't deny that, even if you don't like the
Well,
Marvel
you gotta
movies, even if you find them
remember,
boring.
Disney took over Marvel.
Yeah, but I mean, but still, that was under Disney's control. I mean,
And
they did
for what it's
something
worth, they did the
incredible,
same
like
thing.
creating that
But they did
that many films. It's
they
crazy.
made the same mistake with Star Wars, which is like, oh yeah, we're gonna like fucking just churn out this slop content over and over and over, and it's like at this point, like, who gives a shit? Like, okay, what, Andor season 2 is coming out? I guess I'm apprehensive about that. But like, what else are they? They're wanting to make the Rey movie. Oh God, whoop-de fucking do.
What movie?
The Rey movie. That's like, there's
movie.
there's only like 2 things that Disney has like announced that they're working on, and it's like
a movie about Rey. Okay.
Yeah. It's like the Rey movie and something else. I can't remember what.
Well, they're working on Toy Story 5, Moana 2, Moana live version.
They give those times to breathe at least. Like, Moana came out in like what, 2016, 2017? When did Moana come out?
I don't, as much as I don't like Rey, if you take Rey from like that stupid horrible ending they gave her in like the trilogy, and you took her in like the place of her being on Tatooine, and like you could actually make a really interesting movie about Rey being kind of like a sci-fi version of like the movies like about like the single lone pioneer woman like fighting against like some bad cowmen or something like that.
The problem is it's going to be a continuation of like, it's going to take place after, and we know that she's not just some pioneer woman. She's the granddaughter of Palpatine.
I'm just saying, if they actually base it made it really small, like a small Western kind of thing where it wasn't about a big space battle type thing, I could see a good movie coming out of that. But
they're not going to do. Yeah, I was going to say,
they're never going to do that. It's the same thing. Like there would have been good. There could have been places they could have gone with some of the Marvel characters if they had taken the time to actually step back and make smaller stories about these characters, and like actually make the characters, like actually deepen the characters somewhat, and not make every single movie single. But they keep trying to raise the stakes on every single movie, and like at this point, like they already did after Thanos, there isn't really anywhere else to go. It's every single movie is like somebody else is going to destroy the world. Okay,
or they're getting ready
to do this time.
They're getting ready to do the Fantastic Four version too.
Well, at least that's a new franchise.
And Fantastic Four was done dirty originally.
Yeah.
It was done so dirty, but
if Disney's doing Fantastic Four, it's going to get dirty again.
Yeah, it is.
Unfortunately, like it's the same thing with like Star Wars content. Like basically, aside from Andor, which is more of the exception rather than the rule, because it's not made by one of Disney's Star Wars guys. Like everything Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have touched has turned to shit. Even if you might have defenses for Filoni or Favreau, there is no denying that.
Yeah, no, I think that I did watch the pilot for The Mandalorian. Wasn't too bad.
No, yeah, the first couple episodes of the first season are actually good.
Pretty good, yeah. I lost interest like after that though. It lost my interest pretty fast. But I mean, the first couple episodes are good. And I mean, I don't think Favreau's direction on the Iron Man movies was good. I mean, he is a decent director. He just has not translated to Star. I mean, I heard that Taika Waititi directed a couple of good episodes of Mandalorian 2. That I heard that he had a hand in some of them that came out all right. But I mean, I didn't see them. But
I mean, part of the problem is just like not giving that much of a shit about like the main character is a character, but he's also not. Like he's a blank slate, but he also is a person that has a name and a past, and they kind of oscillate between the two. But not in like a character way, in like a how the show treats the character kind of way. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes they treat him as if he is a complex person who has a deep past, who has all these things, but then other times it's like, oh, okay, he's just a guy here doing his bounty hunter things.
That's those writer room problems where like they hire this like huge group of writers, they sketch out a vague like outline for their season, and then they split it up and they give each like I don't know if you ever heard this story, but like this is like one of the most insane things I've ever heard from Hollywood is like I'm sure you're aware of the show Glee and how god awful it was, but Glee was god awful for a very specific reason, and that's because the way Glee was written was that literally they would break the story for every episode, and they would split it up into three distinct groups, three distinct storylines that have an A, B, and C storyline, and they'd give each one of those storylines to completely different writers that did not communicate with each other, and therefore and that's the reason why the show had like this tonal like complete whiplash dissonance because one group of writers was writing one show, another group was writing a different show, and the third group was writing a different show, and then they just edited it together. And so you had like storylines in that show. Like, I mean, whenever, because my wife used to really like it and stuff, and I used to watch it with her. And like there would be episodes where like, I mean, like the part of the show was like a weepy high school drama about like, and then another part of the show was like an absurdist comedy that was like all like random like Gen X or not Gen X, I mean millennial kind of random humor type stuff, like Family Guy joke kind of stuff, and like and then another part of the show would be like woke messaging type of stuff about like like being proud of yourself or whatever, and it was like they none of it went together at all because it didn't go together. The storylines were completely separate. They had nothing to do with each other, and then the next episode wouldn't be like the same people continuing those threads. It would be different people get split up into doing those different things again. So the show had no consistency. I can't even imagine making something like that. That's like it's like making a TV show by like via shotgun, like just like random scatter shot just of like story at people.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because the writers for the Ahsoka series, and I say writers as in I think almost every single episode was written by a different person.
Right. Yeah.
It makes sense considering how
and there's shows that do that. There's tons of shows that do that, by the way, that are good. That have when there's a good showrunner in place that actually knows how to guide the hand and actually keep things in place. It can work, but it's just but writers' rooms have gotten that whole writer strike thing was probably. Even though, I want to be on the side. I'm a writer myself.
So what's the excuse for Game of Thrones, Chris? Since you understand this stuff, like why did Game of Thrones end so abruptly, so terribly?
It's very simple. It's very simple.
It went from 100 to 10.
They had material from a novel that was written by someone who could competently write that they adapted from for many years, for the first several years, and then they ran out of that material. And then all they had was a basic outline sketch that R. Martin said that's what he was probably going to do for the rest of it. But he hadn't written it yet. And therefore the people that were making it were not good writers. And they just made up shit, they made up whatever shit they could to try to like whatever they thought was good. Those guys are just genuinely not good writers. They did a decent job adapting.
Except for season 5, episode 10, which is probably one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones. Period. That was like one of those weird exceptions. It was when they're escaping from the undead far up north, and they're like all the wildlings have to jump in the boats and stuff. That whole episode, phenomenal episode.
That wasn't part of like. Well, I mean, but the thing is like
the books ended at season 4.
That might have been after the novels, but nonetheless, but Martin had more material. They had seen material that he had written. He had gotten the further they got away from like the last book, the further they got away from anything he had a concrete idea to. He hadn't figured out how the show was going to end. Basically, is what was happening.
Yeah.
Hard
home. Thank you, Jeff.
So the further it went along, the further it got away from anything that could resemble Martin's original vision. And I'm not even a huge fan of his. Like, I don't think that he's like some complete genius, brilliant writer. But
No.
I think that I think
He's
very
competent.
competent. He's very
Yeah.
competent, and he's very good at what he does in his. I would never say that he's like a bad writer in any sense.
Yeah, no.
And he supported Malwolf, and I think I'm forever grateful for him for that, because I think that was an amazing thing he did. But but it's like, but at the same time, like, you know, it was a stupid idea to try to adapt that series and keep going with it after. Although I heard that the Dragon show, the other one, the prequel thing was good, but I never watched it.
Good.
I
haven't watched. I can't. Yeah, I can't get back into it now.
You broke my heart.
It just there were a bunch of initially they were rumors that the writers D&D had basically been hired on to write Star Wars after Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, that got canceled real fast.
And immediately. And people that
was the first one that got canceled. It was the first one after that last season came out. I mean, and it wasn't even like the ideas that there were ideas that could have worked there, but I mean, you talked about the Star Wars series, like the people assassinating the characters in the Star Wars series and in the sequel trilogy, man. Like there is no character assassination I've ever seen worse than what they did to fucking to have Jamie Lannister develop
Danny.
He developed so beautifully over all of that whole series, and then to take all that character development, throw it away, and just kill him off in the most. I mean, God, that was it was really like they really wanted to tell the audience to fuck off and that they hated them. It really felt that way.
It felt that way to me too, because none of the things I think were in and of themselves bad. I could see a story where Jamie. It's like a tragedy, right? That he makes all this progress and then has another fall, and goes.
Something happens. Something has to motivate it, and then the motivation is it's 1 minute. It's the motivation is just no, I'm gonna do this now. And it just has there's never, and that's the same thing that happened with Daenerys too.
Yeah,
she's just she's good and pure and until all of a sudden she's just these people are mean. Fuck them. I'm a Nazi now.
She fucking starts off the series being I will break the wheel, and then she's King's Landing was mean to me. I'm gonna burn their entire city.
And I am the wheel, bitch.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh my god.
Breaking Bad did pulled the whole thing of turning this kind of sympathetic character slowly into a villain for all these years. They took Daenerys and built her up into this amazing hero character, and then at the last second we're nah, Nazi.
And I think, and I know what they were going for, because there was the whole, in the books at least, Daenerys has a lot of misgivings about her own
and there's some of that
bloodline,
some of that kind of gets snuck its way in there, but it's not handled. No. At all in any kind of, I mean, it could have been fixed in editing. God damn it, they could have fixed that shit with some better editing. It wouldn't even have
take care, Chuck. We're gonna wrap up soon anyway. They can.
Okay, we can stop. I'm sorry. Me and Liv just talking about.
Yeah, it's the nerd talk that started, which is there's a place for that. It is not bad, but it just, I guess I have my limit on it because I don't understand.
It's fine. I'm sorry. I nerd out too. I can't help it. The geek wants to talk to you. Just
yeah, no, don't feel bad about nerding out, because we definitely support it here. But I feel like I'm sitting in a comic shop.
I was gonna say, we need to me and Chris need to get together and make an actual episode on this.
Yeah,
where we do that.
Yeah, I think that's actually
I'm completely fine with.
Because then the people that do want to see that will have it all in one place.
We can do a separate stream where we just break down everything that went wrong with anything.
No, oh my god, I would have to rewatch them then, Chris, and I don't want to torture myself.
I wouldn't have to rewatch Game of Thrones. It's burned into my memory, unfortunately. It's that because I didn't even hate it until the last three. I was
same. I was willing to give it a chance. Oh, okay. I was willing to give it a chance at the beginning of
after
the
Red
season.
Wedding. I was done. I was like, this is some bullshit.
What? I liked the Red Wedding. I think the Red Wedding was I think actually
was fine with me because done. I didn't like anybody that got killed.
Are you ever gonna watch Game of Thrones, Jeff? Because I don't want to spoil it.
He shouldn't.
Okay, so since you're not gonna watch it anyways, one of my favorite kingdoms or whatever. They go to some marriage or some shit or whatever. They pull up into the castle, and they're all sitting there eating and feasting, and everything's going good, right? Then all of a sudden they get slaughtered like a bunch of lambs.
Oh wait, no, MoOse, you're a North stan? The North?
Bro,
the North?
I'm Team Stark, doggy. I live in the
Oh,
snow
look,
in the
no,
winter.
no.
Not
All right,
most of the winter, but
here's the real people you should stand. It's the free folk. All right, you think I'm fucking joking? They
I know, I
are
like
the
I like
least bad
Yeah.
culture and faction among all of them.
I'll stand Free Folk and Tyrion. At least Tyrion's the only character they didn't just absolutely destroy at
The
the
Starks
end.
get some credit because they're culturally very similar to the Free Folk, but they also buy into the shit that the Seven Kingdoms is selling, and they shouldn't. It's bad. It hurts people. Free Folk, look, they're like, I live my life, you live your life, we ball.
Okay,
Yeah,
free folk,
that
baby.
I'm with you on that one. Any case, what did he? How you make the jacket is really nice. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tommy
Oh,
Wiseau.
Okay. Cool.
It's a side conversation. It's a different conversation.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So we wrap up then. And
yeah, I have errands to run, so I'll be like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
an hour or so before I can even do anything. So feel free to continue this conversation on Discord.
Liv, if you feel like continuing the conversation, then we can let Jeff go do his errands, and we can continue talking about Game of Thrones on my channel if you want.
Oh God. I probably shouldn't. I need to go do stuff too. I came back from errands and saw the stream, but I do have more things. I have more errands I need to do.
Okay.
Then
to finish my the only thing I want to clear up before we end the stream is just I just want to clarify so you're on the side that like the Graham Lennon thing was overblown though,
for Graham Lennon, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I do think
because I feel the same way. I feel like people make too big a deal out of Rowling, but I didn't like Rowling in the first place. I think she's a rich she's a rich fucking she's a uber rich white Karen lady, and I don't really give a fuck about anything she has to say anyway. Yeah. So I was a little overblown with her, but I do understand she has a lot of influence, and I understand why it hurt a lot of people's feelings. But still, but like with him though, if you've seen the IT crowd, then you know the episode that the trans episode, I guess, if you would say.
I haven't seen the IT crowd. I've heard it's good. I need to watch it, but
okay. Well, it's one of the funniest episodes of TV all the time. Me and just Frank will attest to this. Me and Frank watched it last night. Me and Frank watched this episode last night, and Frank was rolling laughing. And I still, after watching it, I've seen this episode like 20 times, and I'd watch it again right now. It's one of the funniest episodes of TV I've ever seen, and it is actually the thing is, it's a very positive portrayal of trans people and a trans woman specifically. It's very it's not an anti-trans thing at all, and I always thought that was weird that like of all the people, he's probably one of the first people I think ever did like a portrayal of a trans person that wasn't portrayed as an absolute just a joke. The joke wasn't just that they were trans. Like, I mean, it's a comedy, so yes, there's jokes, but it's not. The joke isn't that this is a trans person. Yeah. The jokes are all on the asshole boss character.
Yeah.
And so like it's and I always thought that was weird that he got canceled for that because he was actually like one of the only people that ever did a portrayal like that on television at the time. So anyway, good night, everybody.
Yep.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Good more.
Now a message from our sponsors. I'd like to thank everybody out there in the crowd for coming out today. If you could possibly share this stream out to all your friends, all your family, gay, straight, lesbian, trans, or just dead in the head. It doesn't matter. We like them all. Bring them all here and let them know that this is a safe place. Maybe
Leave
not
your
for
trolls
you.
at home. Leave your trolls at home.
But it's a safe place for me. Thank you, folks.
It's a safe
and have
place.
a beautiful, beautiful day.
MoOse. If it's safe place, it's a safe place for MoOse.
He was good. Hey, that was good. He was good.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that little ending.
I did.
Like and subscribe. We're trying to get our subscriber count up to 500 so we can start monetizing. We've been doing this. Someone pointed out that I'm almost at a year or about at a year. I've been doing this.
And once again, I will say, be on the lookout. But definitely watch out for an announcement from us in the next few days. We do have a major guest announcement coming, so watch out. Be on the lookout.
Well, don't spoil. The more you talk about it, the more little hints you're going to give.
I'm not giving any. I haven't given a hint.
You did
about
it. Just stop. Just stop. Just.
I want people to know.
Okay, I'm kicking you off. Bye. I had to kick off my own co-host. Okay, so we're gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna go watch Discord stuff, and I don't know. We got all kinds of stuff. The Mole, a bunch of True Detectives, comedies. Graham Linehan's trans comedy something, and Mr. Robot, and whatever else y'all can slip in there. So anyway, see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a good rest of your day, and talk to you later. There it goes. All right.